ene afia brompoma hene me na me de chiame ema adwuma yeko nyame ya adoma ebrepem ye besan ehia afei citizen show dwumadie no eto aso me da ase
100.5 Accra FM. Accra, oh yalo. Accra, oh yalo. Accra FM 100.5. Accra, oh yalo. Accra, oh yalo. Accra FM 100.5.
Speaker, before I proceed with the media review, I would like to pay a tribute to the former president, Professor John Evans Atta-Mills, whose unfortunate demise occurred on this very day, 24th of July, 13 years ago. Mr. Speaker, may his gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this House approves the mid-year fiscal policy review of the budget statement and economic policy of the Government of Ghana for the 2025 financial year. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm back to the House today with deep sense of duty and optimism to present the mid-year fiscal policy review of the 2025 budget statement and economic policy of government on behalf of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. Mr. Speaker, this presentation is in line with Section 28 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. Mr. Speaker, I respectfully request the entire mid-year fiscal policy review to be captured in a Hansard while I present the highlight. Mr. Speaker, this review is more than a fiscal update. It is an account of what we inherited and the positive results of our stewardship in the last 198 days. Mr. Speaker, following his re-election with an overwhelming mandate, President John Mahama inherited an economy in deep distress, far worse than what we had imagined. The economy was marked by large imbalance with huge MDA arrests, massive debt, weakened institutions, and heightened public anxiety. Since 2023, the debt in the cocoa and energy sector had in particular posed significant fiscal risk to the Ghanaian economy. The Ghanaian private sector and the business community looked on in despair. Public trust was completely eroded. The national spirit was broken, and the foundation of our economy had sunk even deeper. Mr. Speaker, the budget deficit had ballooned because of reckless commitment and wasteful spending. The indebtedness of the government had culminated into state insolvency. The impaired balance sheet paralyzed almost every single state enterprise. High cost of living and inflation impoverished large segments of the population, eroding the real value of their income and savings. Right Honorable Speaker, the mismanagement of our public finances by the previous administration led to a devastating haircut through the DDEP, which denied pensioners and middle class their lifetime savings, their livelihood, and in fact, their dignity. Mr. Speaker, Eurobond holders also suffered painful haircuts, severely affecting Ghanaian businesses and financial institutions. Soaring interest rates crowded out essential spending on education, health, and infrastructure. Right Honorable Speaker, the Ghana cedi depreciated against all major currencies to levels never seen before, making it the worst performing currency in the world. Public sector corruption reached an all-time peak. As President Mahama said, the whole of Ghana was indeed a crime scene. Mr. Speaker, investor confidence waned considerably, significantly reducing investment inflows. The public debt reached unsustainable levels. The unemployment situation worsened, which made it difficult for Ghanaians to find decent jobs. Many micro, small, and medium enterprises collapsed under the weight of economic mismanagement. Right, Honorable Speaker? To compound all this, the country suffered credit rating downgrades by all three major credit rating agencies, placing Ghana firmly in default or junk territory, never seen in the history of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, to further illustrate the enormity of this economic burden, we inherited an IMF program which had derailed and completely gone off track, with key targets missed, putting our economic recovery program in jeopardy. In the words of the Deputy Managing Director of the IMF, Mr. Bobie, the program had deviated substantially from its target by close of 2024, unquote. Mr. Speaker, we also inherited weak commitment control systems and irresponsible spending, which left arrests of over 67 billion and contract commitment of about 194 billion Ghana cedis. Right, Honorable Speaker, we inherited a bleeding energy sector with annual financing shortfall in excess of $1.5 billion. We inherited a debt-riddled cocoa sector with liabilities of 32 billion Ghana cedis, a weak financial sector with significant non-performing loans, despite pumping over 30 billion Ghana cedis into the so-called financial sector cleanup. Right, Honorable Speaker, steep debt repayment harms were also inherited, where at the time, Mr. Speaker, we inherited repayment harms of 20 billion for the year 2026, 50.3 billion for the year 2027, and 45.8 billion for the year 2028, as well as significant short-term treasury bills maturities of about 137 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, we inherited depleted buffers needed to cushion the country from any fiscal or external shocks. Mr. Speaker, before I proceed with the media review, I would like to pay a tribute to the former President, Professor John Evans Atta-Mills, whose unfortunate demise occurred on this very day, 24th of July, 13 years ago. Mr. Speaker, may his gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this House approves the mid-year fiscal. Speaker, before I proceed with the media review, I would like to pay a tribute to the former President, Professor John Evans Atta-Mills, whose unfortunate demise occurred on this very day, 24th of July, 13 years ago. Mr. Speaker, may his gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this House approves the mid-year fiscal policy review of the budget statement and economic policy of the Government of Ghana for the 2025 financial year. Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm back to the House today with deep sense of duty and optimism to present the mid-year fiscal policy review of the 2025 budget statement and economic policy of government on behalf of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. Mr. Speaker, this presentation is in line with Section 28 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. Mr. Speaker, I respectfully request the entire mid-year fiscal policy review to be captured in the Hansard while I present the highlight. Mr. Speaker, this review is more than a fiscal update. It is an account of what we inherited and the positive results of our stewardship in the last 198 days. Mr. Speaker, following his re-election with an overwhelming mandate, President John Mahama inherited an economy in deep distress, far worse than what we had imagined. The economy was marked by large imbalance with huge MDA arrests, massive debt, weakened institutions, and heightened public anxiety. Since 2023, the debt in the cocoa and energy sector had in particular posed significant fiscal risk to the Ghanaian economy. The Ghanaian private sector and the business community looked on in despair. Public trust was completely eroded. The national spirit was broken, and the foundation of our economy had sunk even deeper. Mr. Speaker, the budget deficit had ballooned because of reckless commitment and wasteful spending. The indebtedness of the government had culminated into state insolvency. The impaired balance sheet paralyzed almost every single state enterprise. High cost of living and inflation impoverished large segments of the population, eroding the real value of their income and savings. Right Honorable Speaker, the mismanagement of our public finances by the previous administration led to a devastating haircut through the DDEP, which denied pensioners and middle class their lifetime savings, their livelihood, and in fact, their dignity. Mr. Speaker, Eurobond holders also suffered painful haircuts, severely affecting Ghanaian businesses and financial institutions. Soaring interest rates crowded out essential spending on education, health, and infrastructure. Right Honorable Speaker, the Ghana cedi depreciated against all major currencies to levels never seen before, making it the worst performing currency in the world. Public sector corruption reached an all-time peak. As President Mahama said, the whole of Ghana was indeed a crime scene. Mr. Speaker, investor confidence waned considerably, significantly reducing investment inflows. The public debt reached unsustainable levels. The unemployment situation worsened, which made it difficult for Ghanaians to find decent jobs. Many micro, small, and medium enterprises collapsed under the weight of economic mismanagement. Right Honorable Speaker, to compound all this, the country suffered credit rating downgrades by all three major credit rating agencies, placing Ghana firmly in default or junk territory, never seen in the history of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, to further illustrate the enormity of this economic burden, we inherited an IMF program which had derailed and completely gone off track, with key targets missed, putting our economic recovery program in jeopardy. In the words of the Deputy Managing Director of the IMF, Mr. Bobie, the program had deviated substantially from its target by close of 2024, unquote. Mr. Speaker, we also inherited weak commitment control systems and irresponsible spending, which left arrests of over 67 billion and contract commitment of about 194 billion Ghana cedis. Right Honorable Speaker, we inherited a bleeding energy sector with annual financing shortfall in excess of $1.5 billion US. We inherited a debt-riddled cocoa sector with liabilities of 32 billion Ghana cedis, a weak financial sector with significant non-performing loans despite pumping over 30 billion Ghana cedis into the so-called financial sector cleanup. Right Honorable Speaker, steep debt repayment harms were also inherited, where at the time, Mr. Speaker, we inherited repayment harms of 20 billion for the year 2026, 50.3 billion for the year 2027, and 45.8 billion for the year 2028, as well as significant short-term treasury bills maturities of about 137 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, we inherited depleted buffers needed to cushion the country from any fiscal or external shocks with empty sinking fund. And Mr. Speaker, we inherited stored projects, about 55 of them tied to bilateral debt restructuring, with about $3 billion US in undisbursed loans. Mr. Speaker, the root of our 2022 economic crisis can be traced directly to an overbearing fiscal dominance, marked by reckless spending and corruption, compounded by poor leadership of the previous NPP administration. Mr. Speaker, the worsened fiscal situation spilled over into the monetary and external sector, causing a rapid depreciation of the Ghana cedis. The monetary financing by the central bank reached an all-time high, driving inflation to levels never seen in decades. Mr. Speaker, there was a complete lack of coordination between the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana, signaling the highest level of incompetence in the management of our economy. Mr. Speaker, in the face of all this dire inheritance bequeathed by the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration, the government of President John Dramani Mahama made a conscious decision not to make excuses, but to reset our country. We chose the path of structural reforms and transformation. We set out to reset our economy, restore good governance, and policy credibility. We renewed our social contract with the Ghanaian people and redefined national priorities by being deliberate in both our policy choices and approach to economic management. At the very onset, we organized a National Economic Dialogue and the National Education Forum. Mr. Speaker, we held direct engagement with key groups and stakeholders, including market women, trade unions, youth organizations, and traditional leaders. Mr. Speaker, you may recall that clear policy measures were outlined in the 2025 budget presented to this House in March this year. In our new economic model, Mr. Speaker, we tightened fiscal discipline without compromising social spending. Right, Honorable Speaker, the recent IMF Executive Board affirms this new economic management model, noting that faced with large policy slippage and reform delays at end 2024, the new NDC administration had taken bold corrective actions to maintain the program on track. Right, Honorable Speaker, the IMF further noted that these corrective actions, combined with continuous structural reforms and an improved external sector, are expected to result in economic stability, resilience, and inclusive growth. Mr. Speaker, we streamlined and increased investment in education, health, agriculture, and infrastructure, as well as employment. In fulfillment of our major manifesto pledge, we established the Ghana Gold Board through Act 1140 to accumulate foreign exchange to support the stability of the Ghana cedi. We have restored coordination between the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana to ensure a cohesive and integrated approach to economic policy making across relevant institutions. Mr. Speaker, in less than 200 days, we have brought back clarity, certainty, stability, and purpose to our economic policy direction. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have made significant progress. The signs of recovery are obvious, evident, noticeable, visible, tangible, and they are being felt. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's fiscal position has significantly improved. The primary balance on commitment basis posted a surplus of 11.1% of GDP at the end of June 2025, beating the ambitious 0.4% surplus target for the same period. Right, Honorable Speaker, the overall fiscal deficit on commitment basis was 0.7% of GDP, outperforming the target of 1.8% at the end of June 2025. Mr. Speaker, inflation has reduced significantly from 23.8% at the end of December 2024 to 13.7% at the end of June 2025. Mr. Speaker, it's important to know that this is the lowest since December 2021 and marks 6 months of continuous decline. Interest rates are declining with a drastic drop in Treasury bill rates. The 91-day Treasury bill rate has reduced from 27.73 in December 2024 to 14.73 in June 2025, a decline of over 1,300 basis points. Mr. Speaker, the 182-day T-bill rate has reduced from 28.43% in December 2024 to 15.34 in June 2025, a decline of another 1,300 basis points. Mr. Speaker, the 364-day T-bill rate has also reduced from 29.95 in December 2025 to 15.76 in June 2025, marking a decline of over 1,400 basis points. Gross international reserves has significantly improved, Mr. Speaker. The Bank of Ghana accumulated $11.12 billion, covering 4.8 months of import at the end of June 2025. And this compares to $8.98 billion, covering a 4 month of import as at end December 2024. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana cedi has demonstrated exceptional resilience and strength in recent months. At the end of June 2025, the Ghana cedi appreciated by 42.6% against the US dollar, 30.3% against the British pound, and 25.6% against the euro. This is a significant reversal compared to the same period in 2024 when the cedi depreciated by 18.6%, 17.9%, and 16.0% respectively. Mr. Speaker, so far we have almost reversed all the cedi depreciations in the year 2022, 2023, and 2024. Mr. Speaker, it is important for us to note that it is the first time that this level of appreciation has been recorded in the 60 years history of the Ghana cedi. Rating agencies, which once classified our sovereign creditworthiness as junk, are beginning to upgrade our ratings. Fitch Ratings upgraded Ghana's long-term foreign currency issuer default rating to B- with a stable outlook from restricted default on the 17th of June 2025. The IMF program is back on track with the successful conclusion of the fourth review by the IMF Executive Board on the 7th of July 2025, which immediately triggered the disbursement of $367 million United States dollars. Right Honorable Speaker, beyond the numbers, this is a story of sound leadership, better economic management, and a restoration of hope to a nation once in despair. Let me, on behalf of the President John Mahama, sincerely thank the people of Ghana for their trust, patience, and continued support. We do not take your sacrifice for granted. Mr. Speaker, this government did not come to simply manage the decline. We came to reverse it and reset our country. The gains of these first 6 months are just the beginning. Mr. Speaker, these early successes only encourages us to stay the focus, stay disciplined, and continue to do more for the people of Ghana. There is still a long road ahead, but our steps are now steadier, our direction clearer, and the national spirit has been lifted with the gradual restoration of hope in our democracy. We have moved from promises to purpose, from ineptitude to action, and from distress to relief. Mr. Speaker, we have established policy credibility and restored credit worthiness. Right Honorable Speaker, the rest of my presentation will focus on 4 areas: macroeconomic performance for the first 6 months of 2025, the status of Ghana's debt restructuring, and the status of implementation of key government programs. Before I conclude, macroeconomic performance, Mr. Speaker, for January to June 2025. Mr. Speaker, the first half of 2025 has demonstrated our government commitment to economic recovery. Through prudent fiscal management, sound monetary policies, effective structural reforms, and strategic investment, we are laying a solid foundation for sustainable growth and shared prosperity. To put the assessment of the economy in the first half of 2025 in a proper perspective, it will be useful to restate the ambitious yet attainable macroeconomic target we set for ourselves for the year 2025. Mr. Speaker, we set for ourselves an overall real GDP growth of at least 4%, non-oil real GDP growth of at least 4.8%, end-year inflation rate of at least 11.9%, primary balance on commitment basis at a surplus of 1.5% of GDP, and gross international reserves covering not less than 3 months of import cover. Right Honorable Speaker, I now take you to the real sector. Mr. Speaker, despite global economic uncertainties, Ghana's economy demonstrated robust growth. In the first half of 2025, the economy expanded by 5.3%, up from 4.9% in the same period of 2024, marking the highest first quarter growth since 2020. The agriculture sector led this growth with a remarkable 6.6% increase, about 3 times the growth in the first quarter of 2024. The agriculture sector growth contributed 26.4% of the overall first quarter growth. The fishing subsector grew the most at 16.4%. Mr. Speaker, the service sector constituting the largest share of the economy of 46.8% grew by 5.9% and contributed 47.9% to the overall first quarter growth, with information and communication technology leading the growth in the sector at 13.1%. Industry grew by 3.4% in the first quarter of 2025, contributing 20.6% to the overall first quarter growth. Manufacturing also posted an impressive growth of 6.6%. Right, Honorable Speaker. Non-oil GDP growth, the rail sector, also picked up strongly, growing at 6.8% in the first quarter of 2025, compared to the growth rate of 4.3% in the same period in 2024. Importantly, Mr. Speaker, the non-oil GDP growth is the highest since 2018. It is expected that with the introduction of our 24-hour economy policy, the Big Push program, and the Agriculture for Economic Transformation program, the GDP growth will be sustained and possibly exceed the target of 4% for the year 2025. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to prices. Right, Honorable Speaker, we pledge to pursue the following to reduce inflation. We pledge to implement aggressive fiscal consolidation drive aimed at reducing the fiscal deficit and borrowing. Mr. Speaker, we pledge to stabilize the exchange rate to reduce inflation on items that rely on the exchange rate for pricing, such as fuel, transportation, imported sugar, rice, and cooking oil. We pledge to implement policies that target items with large weight in the CPI basket, such as transportation and utilities, to reduce their prices. We also pledge to implement, through the Bank of Ghana, to implement an appropriate monetary policy stance and use its liquidity management interventions to support the disinflation process. And finally, Mr. Speaker, we pledge to implement agriculture for economic transformation agenda to reduce food inflation. Mr. Speaker, it is instructive to know that these intentional policies announced in the 2025 budget to tame inflation are yielding massive results. Inflation pressures have eased significantly. The drastic fall in inflation is not by chance or sheer luck, but as a result of hard work and deliberate government policies. Mr. Speaker, consumer price inflation has reduced from 23.8% in December 2024 to 13.7% in June 2025. This represents a massive 10.1 percentage point decline. Similarly, producer price inflation saw a sharp decline from 26.1% in December 2024 to 5.9% in June 2025, representing a steep decline of 20.2 percentage points in just 6 months. So, Speaker, food inflation declined from 27.8% in December 2024 to 16.3% in June 2025, representing an encouraging 11.5 percentage point reduction. Non-food inflation also declined from 20.3% in December 2024 to 11.4% in June 2025, representing 8.9 percentage point reduction. Inflation for locally produced goods and services declined from 26.4% in December 2024 to 14% in June 2025. Right, Honorable Speaker, inflation for imported items decreased from 18% in December 2024 to 12.5% in June 2025. These improvements are reflective of the effective fiscal consolidation, tight monetary policy, strong central bank reserves, and the appreciation of the Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, with this trend, we are focused and determined to achieve our end December 2025 inflation target of 11.9% ahead of schedule. Mr. Speaker, let me assure this House and the people of Ghana that things can only get better in the coming days. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to interest rate movement. Interest rates have declined, reflecting improved macro conditions. Mr. Speaker, the 91-day Treasury bill rate has reduced by 13 percentage points from 27.7% in December 2024 to 14.7% in June 2025. Similar trends were observed in the 182 days and the 364 days bills. The 182-day Treasury bill rate decreased by 13.1 percentage points from 28.43 in December 2024 to 15.34 in June 2025. The 364 Treasury bill rate also declined by 14.19 percentage points from 29.95 in December 2025 to 15.76 in June 2025. The average lending rate decreased from 30.3% in December 2024 to 27% in June 2025. Right Honorable Speaker, the Ghana reference rate fell from 29.31% in December 2024 to 24.0% in June 2025. Mr. Speaker, things can only get better. Right Honorable Speaker, we have indeed saved 4.9 billion Ghana cedis on domestic interest payment as at end June 2025 due to our prudent debt management policy. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to fiscal performance. Mr. Speaker, our fiscal discipline has yielded the needed and remarkable results so far. We have delivered below target deficit on both cash and commitment basis. We have delivered a greater than anticipated primary surplus, the core fiscal anchor. We have delivered a strong expenditure and commitment control. We have delivered robust tax revenue performance. Mr. Speaker, provisional data shows that the primary balance on commitment basis, the fiscal anchor, as at end June 2025, recorded a surplus of 1.1% of GDP, surpassing the target surplus of 0.4% of GDP set for the same period. The overall fiscal deficit on commitment basis was a deficit of 0.7% of GDP, better than the deficit target of 1.8% of GDP. Mr. Speaker, on cash basis, the overall balance recorded a deficit of 1.1% of GDP. This is significantly better than the projected deficit target of 2.4% of GDP. The primary balance on cash basis turned surplus at 0.7% of GDP against a projected deficit of 0.2% of GDP. The non-oil tax revenue, net, exceeded target by about 787 million Ghana cedis. Corporate income tax exceeded target by 555.3 million, representing 2.9% above target. Mineral royalties exceeded its target by 143 million. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, import duties fell short of target by 1.6 billion. Expenditures were contained at 109.7 billion Ghana cedis, or 7.8% of GDP. This was 14.3% below the program amount of 128 billion, or 9.1% of GDP, reflecting strong expenditure control. Mr. Speaker, primary expenditure on non-interest expenditure on commitment basis amounted to 84.3 billion, or 6.0% of GDP. This is an improvement of about 13.3 billion over the target of 97.5 billion, which is 7% of our GDP. Mr. Speaker, interest payment amounted to 25.4 billion, which is 1.8% of GDP. This is below the target of 30.5 billion, which is 2.2% of GDP. And this was mainly due to lower domestic interest payment. Domestic interest payment amounted to 21.6 billion against a target of 26.5 billion, representing a reduction of 4.9 billion Ghana cedis, mainly on account of lower than planned domestic borrowing and a decline in the T-bill rates. Mr. Speaker, external interest payment amounted to 3.8 billion Ghana cedis against a target of 4 billion. due mainly to the appreciation of the Ghana cedis. Other expenditure, mainly comprising energy sector levies, transfers and energy sector payment shortfalls, amounted to 11.4 billion Ghana cedis, or 8% of GDP. This was 12.7% below the target of 13.1 or 0.9% of GDP for the same period. Right Honorable Speaker, arrest clearance amounted to 4.8 billion Ghana cedis. It is important to know that there was no build-up in arrest payable during the period under review, signaling strong commitment control and fiscal discipline. Mr. Speaker, we are very different from our friends that decided to flee from this chamber. Mr. Speaker, the deficit was largely financed from domestic sources, with net domestic financing of 13.1 billion, well below the 18.7 billion target. The net foreign financing was 2.8 billion, mostly from the utilization of the 4.5 billion IMF disbursement. Mr. Speaker, between 1st of January to 6th of January, the IMF disbursement of 4.5 billion was spent before the Mahama administration took office, just in 6 days. Mr. Speaker, project loan disbursement was 2.4 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, even though Ghana is relying on the domestic market for financing, we have borrowed less than we planned, signifying strong expenditure control and fiscal discipline. Right Honorable Speaker, this is a strong signal to the investor community and all stakeholders that the needed fiscal consolidation is happening here in Ghana, and it will be sustained. Right Honorable Speaker, Ghana is back on the international scene. Mr. Speaker, exchange rate development. Right Honorable Speaker, government commitment to implement the following measures, to implement the following measures to stabilize the exchange rate. Mr. Speaker, we committed to establish the Ghana Gold Board to enhance the generation and accumulation of foreign exchange to support the stability of our currency. Mr. Speaker, we committed to pursue strong fiscal consolidation through the reduction in public sector spending and the fiscal deficit to reduce the pressures on the exchange rate. Mr. Speaker, the Bank of Ghana also committed to implement appropriate FX forward auction to support the stability of the cedi. And Mr. Speaker, finally, we committed that the 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program will boost local production and reduce reliance on export. Right Honorable Speaker, let me state emphatically that these deliberate policies announced in the 2025 budget to stabilize the Ghana cedi are yielding massive results. The results we are witnessing are not by chance. They are the fruits of hard work, discipline, and intentional policies. Mr. Speaker, the cedi performance in the first half of the year 2025 has been impressive. The Ghana cedi experienced significant appreciation against all major trading currencies in the first 6 months of 2025. I'm happy to inform the House that our previous record, where the Ghana cedi used to trade against the US dollar at 17, is as at yesterday trading at 10.4. Mr. Speaker, similarly, the Ghana cedi, which was once trading at 21 cedis to the British pound, was trading at 14.1 as at yesterday, 23rd July 2025. Mr. Speaker, as at end June 2025, the cedi appreciated by 42.6% against the US dollar, 30.3% against the British pound, and 25.6% against the euro. This is a significant improvement over the cedi depreciation of 18.6%, 17.9%, and 16.0% against the US dollar, British pound, and the euro. Mr. Speaker, I repeat, so far, we have almost reversed all the cedi depreciation in 2022, 2023, and 2024. This level of appreciation has never happened in the history of our country. Mr. Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, fellow citizens, Ghana cedi no apeke. Cedi no apeke. Mr. Speaker, these gains are largely due to strong fiscal consolidation, tight monetary policy, improved external sector balance, renewed investor confidence, positive market sentiment, credit rating upgrades, and successfully securing staff-level agreement and subsequently the board-level approval of the fourth review of the IMF program. Right, Honorable Speaker, the cedi rebound signals that Ghana's economic foundations are once again beginning to firm up. Sustaining this stability will require continued fiscal discipline, supportive monetary policy, strong liquidity sterilization, robust reserve accumulation, supported by activities of the Ghana Gold Board and credible implementation of structural reforms. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to the external sector. Right, Honorable Speaker, our external sector has shown remarkable improvement in the last 6 months. Gross international reserves reached $11.12 billion by June 2025, covering 4.8 months of imports, up from $8.98 billion in December 2024, equivalent to 4 months of import cover. Mr. Speaker, in just 6 months, even before the IMF and World Bank disbursement, in fact, without external borrowing, we have added $2.14 billion to the country's gross international reserves. Right, Honorable Speaker, trade surplus increased from $1.37 billion in June 2024 to $5.57 billion in June 2024, representing a whopping 306.6% increase just in 6 months. Mr. Speaker, this was driven by strong exports, particularly in gold, cocoa, and controlled imports. Mr. Speaker, the current account surplus improved significantly to a provisional $3.44 billion by June 2025 from $28.11 billion in June 2024. Provisional net capital and financial inflows reached $937.58 million in June 2025, indicating renewed investor confidence. Mr. Speaker, I take you to monetary and the financial sector development. Right, Honorable Speaker, monetary indicators point to a sustained monetary expansion. Credit to the private sector increased by about 31.3% in June 2025. Reserve money growth moderated and M2 growth remained consistent, supported by increased deposit mobilization and improved net foreign asset. Net domestic asset growth slowed, while net foreign asset surged, indicating a shift in liquidity drivers towards external inflows. Right, Honorable Speaker, I take you to the recapitalization of the National Investment Bank. Mr. Speaker, you may recall that I updated this House during the 2025 budget presentation on the restructuring and recapitalization of the National Investment Bank, our NIB, as one of the critical reforms in the financial sector that should have been delivered in 2024. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, after spending a whopping $30.3 billion in the so-called financial sector cleanup exercise, the previous NPP administration left NIB in dire straits, with a capital adequacy ratio of a negative 53.13% by end of June 2024. Mr. Speaker, we have successfully, Right Honorable Speaker, President Mahama and the NDC have successfully recapitalized the National Investment Bank by implementing an ambitious and credible plan to return NIB to profitability and sustainability. Mr. Speaker, we have taken the following steps. Right Honorable Speaker, we have injected a total cash of 450 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, we also issued remarkable bonds with face value of 1.5 billion Ghana cedis to the National Investment Bank. Mr. Speaker, we transferred 500 million Government of Ghana shares in the Nestle Ghana Limited to the National Investment Bank. Right Honorable Speaker, these transfers have significantly improved the capital adequacy ratio from negative 53.13% at the end of December 2024 to a positive 23% in May 2025. Mr. Speaker, By taking these major steps, we have preserved depositors' fund valued at 6.4 billion Ghana cedis. We have also saved over 900 direct jobs at the National Investment Banks. So, Speaker, we have preserved an indigenous Ghanaian bank. But, Mr. Speaker, let me state this. Unlike the previous administration, we chose to spend to save a bank than spend to collapse a bank. Right, Honorable Speaker. We have also prepared a forward-looking, overarching restructuring plan for the National Investment Bank to put the bank on a sustainable path of profitability. The plan also aims to enhance board independence and objectivity, strengthen risk management, promote accountability and transparency, prevent insider dominance, and improve strategic decision-making. Mr. Speaker, this plan will, among others, strengthen corporate governance framework and systems, improve enterprise risk management and controls, establish a modern business model, revamp operational strategy, improve financial performance, institute and enhance supervisory measures, and eventually we will list the NIB on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Right, Honorable Speaker, NIB now has a total paid up capital of 3.4 billion Ghana cedis and a capital adequacy ratio of 23%. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the President, I want to use this opportunity to assure the people of Ghana and depositors that our indigenous bank, the National Investment Bank, is now prime for business. More importantly, Mr. Speaker, NIB is back. NIB is now liquid. NIB is now safe. NIB is fully capitalized. Mr. Speaker, we therefore encourage all and sundry to do business with the revitalized National Investment Bank, NIB. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to credit ratings. Mr. Speaker, the progress we are making in our economic reforms and debt restructuring effort has been recognized internationally. On the 16th of June 2025, Fitch Rating upgraded Ghana's long-term foreign currency issuer default rating to B-, with a stable outlook from restricted default, the first time since 2021. Fitch cited significant exchange rate appreciation, declining debt levels, strong nominal GDP growth, increased reserve accumulation, and normalized relationship with external creditors as key drivers. Right, Honorable Speaker, to sustain these gains, we will, among others, do the following. We'll maintain fiscal discipline through continued implementation of prudent policies to promote fiscal and debt sustainability. We will continue the aggressive revenue mobilization by strengthening tax collection systems and broadening the tax base to increase domestic revenue without overburdening the citizens. So, Speaker, we will accelerate structural reforms in public financial management, including transparency and accountability measures to improve efficiency and reduce corruption. The Speaker will strengthen monetary policy framework, and the central bank will lead this to complement the effort that we are doing. Mr. Speaker, we will diversify the economy through investment in sectors beyond traditional export to reduce the vulnerability to commodity price shocks and continue to maintain strong relationship with our international financial institutions and development partners to support ongoing reforms and assess technical assistance. Mr. Speaker, it's expected that other rating agencies, namely S&P and Moody's, will follow suit, given the remarkable progress we are making in ensuring economic stability and promoting inclusive growth. Right, Honorable Speaker, this is just the beginning. We are determined to do better than B-. Ghana indeed deserves better than B-. Right, Honorable Speaker, I now take you to fiscal policies and give you an update. The Speaker, I start with VAT reforms. The Speaker, in the 2025 budget statement, we reaffirmed our commitment to the people of Ghana and the business community to undertake comprehensive value-added tax reforms this year. These reforms are aimed at addressing the distortions and cascading effect inherent in the current VAT structure. To support this effort, we also committed to seeking technical assistance from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, and engage the people of Ghana. So, Speaker, I'm pleased to report that we have successfully completed our engagement with the IMF. Currently, the Ghana Revenue Authority, together with the Ministry of Finance, is undertaking a nationwide consultation process to sensitize key players in the trade and business sector on the VAT reform and solicit feedback from them. Right Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Finance hopes to complete this process by September 2025, prepare a new VAT bill by October 2025, and submit same to Parliament as part of the 2026 budget statement. Mr. Speaker, I would like to reassure the people of Ghana that at the minimum, the following will happen as part of the VAT Act. Amendment Bill. Mr. Speaker, COVID levy will be abolished. The effective VAT rate will be reduced. The punitive cascading effect of the GET Fund and NHIS levy will be removed. VAT flat rate will be removed, and a unified VAT rate will be implemented. The VAT registration threshold will be increased to exempt small and micro businesses, and compliance will be improved through public education, awareness creation, and the introduction of fiscal electronic devices will be deployed. So, Speaker, I now take you to expenditure measures as part of the fiscal. Right Honorable Speaker, as part of the fiscal consolidation strategy, we have taken measures to sanitize public sector payroll and rid it of ghost names. Subsequently, we engaged the Ghana Audit Service to undertake a nationwide payroll audit across all 16 regions of the country. The Speaker, the Audit Service has completed 91% of the payroll audit. So far, the Audit Service has not been able to identify or verify over 14,000 workers. Mr. Speaker, again, they have identified 53,311 separated staff on the payroll. Mr. Speaker, separated staffs are staff who are either on retirement, reassigned, terminated, or are on leave without pay or deceased, and yet remain on government payroll. Mr. Speaker, the Audit Service expects to recover a minimum of 150.4 million of unearned salary from the separated staff over 2023 and 2024 period alone. Right Honorable Speaker, going forward, we will enforce the monthly payroll validation process and strictly apply sanctions to all who validate ghosts for payment of salaries. Mr. Speaker, let me use this opportunity to strongly caution those who validate ghosts across the public service, that they will be personally liable for the loss of public fund. Mr. Speaker, let me repeat. Let me use this opportunity to strongly caution those who validate ghosts across the public service that they will be personally liable for the loss of public funds. Right Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Finance will continue to monitor this payroll and put in place measures to prevent ghosts on the payroll going forward. Mr. Speaker, I now give you an update on the arrears payable audit that we did. Mr. Speaker, in the 2025 budget, we announced the launch of an audit of arrears and payables as at end December 2024. The Ghana Audit Service partnered with EY and PwC to undertake this audit. Mr. Speaker, the Audit Service was tasked to audit and validate 68.7 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, 68.7 billion Ghana cedis. So far, Mr. Speaker, 87% of the audit has been completed. Results show so far are as follows. Mr. Speaker, a total of 28.3 billion Ghana cedis has been validated for payment. Mr. Speaker, 27.3 billion is pending validation as we speak. Right Honorable Speaker, an amount of 3.6 billion Ghana cedis has been rejected because of errors, duplication, and non-compliance with PFM and procurement rules. Mr. Speaker, of this amount, 562.6 million is without adequate supporting document. Mr. Speaker, the outcome of this audit will blow your mind. Blow your mind. Mr. Speaker, the audit is expected to be completed by end of August 2025. Once finalized, we will update the House on the findings and outcomes. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to update on the IMF program. Update on the IMF program. Right Honorable Speaker, Ghana remains on track on the implementation of the IMF program. A staff-level agreement was reached during the fourth review mission in April 2025, and we received executive board approval on the 7th of July 2025. This unlocked $367 million disbursement, bringing the total disbursement under this program to $2.3 billion. The fifth review, which is scheduled for September 2025, will be based on June 2025 data. Mr. Speaker, I'm comfortable that Ghana is on course to achieve most of the target for the fifth review. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to public debt development. Public debt development. Right Honorable Speaker, our commitment to fiscal discipline, through prudent debt management and exchange rate appreciation has resulted in a significant improvement in Ghana's debt profile. Public debt reduced from 726.7 billion as at end December 2024 to 613 billion as at end June 2025. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's public debt reduced by 113.7 billion Ghana cedis in 6 months. Mr. Speaker, for the first time in Ghana's history, there is a negative 15.6% rate of debt accumulation. Right Honorable Speaker, Ghana's public debt to GDP ratio as at end June 2025 was 43.8% from the 61.8% of end December 2024. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's public debt as a percentage of GDP reduced by 18% of GDP in the last 6 months. Ghana's foreign debt as a percentage of total public debt declined from 57.4% as at end December 2024 to 49% by end June 2025. Mr. Speaker, this has significantly improved Ghana's debt sustainability. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to update on debt restructuring. Update on debt restructuring. Right Honorable Speaker, government remains committed to restructuring our bilateral and commercial debt under the G20 Common Framework. On the 24th of June 2025, the House approved an indicative terms of the Memorandum of Understanding between Ghana and Official Creditors Committee. On behalf of His Excellency the President, I wish to thank this House for swift action, which has enabled Ghana to begin negotiation for the signing of bilateral agreement with each of the creditor countries. We are ready to sign the agreement with 2 countries as at tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, it is expected that 4 agreements will be signed by close of tomorrow. First, we'll sign with France, and the second will sign with another country yet to be confirmed. Mr. Speaker, on the commercial debt restructuring, we have signed non-disclosure agreement, NDAs, with some commercial lenders, in line with the government's strong commitment to honoring its debt obligation. We have made 2 debt service payments of about $700 million to our Eurobond holders. Mr. Speaker, on the domestic front, government continues to meet its commitment towards the domestic bondholders. For the first time, for the first half of 2025, a total of 9.8 billion Ghana cedis was paid to coupons to DDEP bondholders, of which 3.6 billion Ghana cedis was capitalized. Right Honorable Speaker, for non-tendered bondholders, government paid a total of 1.1 billion Ghana cedis. This was the outstanding debt service as at 2024. Mr. Speaker, for the second half of 2025, an amount of 10.2 billion Ghana cedis is due as coupon payment on the DDEP bonds and 724.1 million as debt service for the non-tendered bondholders. It is important to note that government remains committed to honoring its debt service obligation, and therefore, we have made sufficient preparation towards the settlement of this debt, and bondholders should not worry, this amount will be paid in due course. Mr. Speaker, priority project under the restructured bilateral debt. Following Ghana's default on its external debt service obligation on the 19th December 2022, creditors halted disbursement of 55 bilateral projects. This resulted in several uncompleted projects dotted across the country, with a massive $3 billion US dollars in undisbursed loans. The IMF and Official Creditors Committee annual disbursement ceiling of $250 million for official creditors loan implies that it will take 12 good years to fully draw down on the undisbursed loans. Under the MOU with the Official Creditors Committee, the government of Ghana was required to submit a priority list to accommodate the $250 million annual disbursement ceiling. Right, Honorable Speaker. During the presentation of the 2025 budget and economic policy of government, I informed this House that we will engage to resolve this challenge. Following the extensive engagement, government has submitted a priority list of 24 projects to the OCC and the IMF. This is expected to trigger resumption of disbursement for projects on the priority list upon the signing of bilateral agreement between Ghana and the creditor countries. We aim to ensure that all the priority projects are completed and commissioned by end 2028. Mr. Speaker, the priority projects are as follows. We are going to build a new bridge across the Volta River at Volivo. Mr. Speaker, the reconstruction of Tema Aflao Road project, phase 1. Tema motorway runabout through Ashiaman runabout to Achimpoku. The construction of 14 pedestrian bridges, Kumasi roads and drainage extension. Mr. Speaker, Power Grant interchange and the secondary Takrady Township Road, phase 1. Rehabilitation of Domikitasi Road, Obichebi Lamte interchange, phase 2. Bogatanga Boko Pomakrom Road, PTC runabout interchange project at Takrady. Construction of drinking water facilities in Wenchi, secondary Takrady water supply, modernization of Komfo Anoche Teaching Hospital, construction of central medical stores in Tema, Efia Nkwanta Regional Hospital in Takrady, Bogatanga Regional Hospital, establishment of the University of Environment and Sustainable Development at Bonsu. Establishment of 9 state-of-the-art technical and vocational education training center, and, Mr. Speaker, integrated e-learning laboratories in senior high schools. Mr. Speaker, that's not all. The expansion and development of existing senior high schools, renewable energy program, pilot photovoltaic system, Mr. Speaker, the renewable energy and energy efficiency program, and the construction of Takrady Market. Mr. Speaker, finally, the Kumasi Central Market, phase 2. Mr. Speaker, the main criterion for the selection of this project was closeness to completion. As a result, projects which were over 70% complete were given priority. The resumption of disbursement for the project and its associated debt service are fully in line with our commitment under the bilateral debt restructuring and IMF program. Right, Honorable Speaker, there's no room for an increase in scope for any of the projects on the priority list as agreed upon at the IMF and the OCC. Implementing agencies must take note and comply accordingly. Mr. Speaker, I repeat, there is no room for any increase in scope for work for any of the projects on the priority list agreed upon with the IMF and the Official Creditors Committee. Implementing agencies must take note and comply accordingly. Mr. Speaker, it has come to the attention of the Ministry of Finance that a number of contractors implementing some of these 55 stalled projects have drawn down on the loans with no work done to match the amount drawn down. Mr. Speaker, sadly, it has come to the attention of the Ministry of Finance that a number of contractors implementing some of these 55 projects have drawn down on the loans with no work done to match the amount drawn down. Again, some contractors have submitted additional costs in excess of what Parliament approved. The Ministry of Finance has accordingly commissioned a forensic audit into this project. Mr. Speaker, we will apprise the House when this audit is completed. And Mr. Speaker, for emphasis, the Auditor General is the one doing this forensic audit in partnership with some of the Big Four. Update on sinking fund. Mr. Speaker, in the 2025 budget statement, government announced that it will commence the operationalization of Section 37 to 44 of the Public Financial Management Act, Act 921, as amended, to build sufficient buffers in the sinking fund for prompt redemption of specified loans obligations of government. Mr. Speaker, government has set up a CD sinking fund account and US dollar sinking fund account. Beginning August 2025, the Ministry of Finance will commence the building of cash buffers to support the repayment of Ghana's domestic debt service obligation relating to the domestic debt exchange program bonds, which will fall due in the year 2027, 2028, and even 2026. Mr. Speaker, the CD sinking fund will specifically target the redemption and debt service harms in 2026 of 20 billion US dollars, Ghana cedis, for the year 2026, 50.3 billion Ghana cedis for the year 2027, and 45.75 billion Ghana cedis for the year 2025. Similarly, the US dollar sinking fund account will also target Eurobond redemption, which will fall due from 2026 of 1.45 billion US dollars, 1.17 billion US dollars in 2027, and 1.14 billion US dollars in the year 2028. Mr. Speaker, the implementation of the sinking fund will provide a reliable buffers that ensures timely and predictable redemption of designated public debt obligation. This structured approach to debt service will enhance investor confidence and contribute to long-term debt sustainability of our dear country. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to Government of Ghana's liability management operations. Mr. Speaker, government has begun an implementation of an effective and efficient liability management program to reduce embedded risk on debt portfolio. Our liability management operation will, 1, reduce debt service costs and mitigate refinancing or rollover risk, extend maturities to alleviate near-term financing pressures. Mr. Speaker, to optimize the debt portfolio by rebalancing the mix of short-term versus long-term instruments and strengthen market confidence. Under our liability management operations, Mr. Speaker, we will analyze the domestic bond market to assess suitability for bonds buybacks. We will carefully sequence issuance of benchmark securities and prioritize longer dated tenor to establish a stable yield curve. Mr. Speaker, I take you to primary dealers and bond market specialist system as we inherited. Mr. Speaker, our debt management strategy is to use treasury bills for cash management purposes only. We intend to reopen the domestic bond market to finance the budget deficit. The reopening of the domestic bond market will aim at creating a more competitive primary market that can deliver the volume and pricing to enable the government lower its borrowing costs. Mr. Speaker, beginning August 2025, we will commence the selection of new book runners to assist government in the reopening of the domestic bond market. Mr. Speaker, for emphasis, beginning 2025 August, the government of Ghana will commence the selection of new book runners to assist government in the reopening of the domestic bond market. Mr. Speaker, the selection of book runners will focus on banks and investment dealers with the ability to achieve a wider market distribution and advice on pricing and structuring. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to revise macroeconomic framework. Mr. Speaker, macroeconomic target. Economic development in the first half of the year do not warrant a revision to the macroeconomic target and the appropriations bill. Mr. Speaker, I am not asking for additional money from the Appropriations Act. We maintain the following macroeconomic target for 2025. 1. Overall GDP growth at least 4.0%. At least. Non-oil GDP growth of at least 4.8%. End-year inflation rate of 11.9%. Primary balance on commitment basis at a surplus of 1.5% of GDP. And gross international reserves covering not less than 3 months of import. Mr. Speaker, although we have made significant progress, we are cautiously optimistic. Right Honorable Speaker, despite maintaining our macroeconomic target for 2025, including the primary balance on commitment basis of a surplus of 1.5% of GDP, we are revising both revenue and expenditure projections to reflect the impact of the additional revenue from the Energy Sector Levies Amendment Act 2025, Act 1141. Revisions to revenue. Right Honorable Speaker, as a result, total revenue and grant has been revised upwards from the 2025 budget target of 227.1 billion to 229.9 billion, or from 16.2% of GDP to 16.4% of GDP. This represents a nominal increase of 1.3%. Mr. Speaker, the additional revenue of 2.9 billion Ghana cedis will come from the increase in revenues from the amendment to the Energy Sector Levies Act. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to revisions to expenditures. Mr. Speaker, total expenditure on commitment basis has been revised downwards from 269.5 billion from the original budget projection of 270.9 billion Ghana cedis. However, primary expenditures has been revised upwards to 209.6 billion from the original budget projection of 206.8 billion Ghana cedis. This upward adjustment reflects an increase in the allocation to support energy sector payment. Mr. Speaker, interest payments have been revised downwards by 4.3 billion Ghana cedis from the original budget projection of 64.1 billion to 59.9 billion cedis. Right Honorable Speaker, domestic interest has been revised downwards by 5.1 billion Ghana cedis, mainly on account of gains from the reduction in the treasury bill rates as a result of the implementation of our prudent debt management policies. However, external interest payments have been revised upwards by 795 million to make additional provision for debt service due on post-cutoff date disbursement made by our bilateral creditors since 2023. Mr. Speaker, energy sector payments have also been revised upwards by 2.9 billion Ghana cedis to provision for fuel purchases for power generation. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to overall balance and financing. Right Honorable Speaker, notwithstanding the revisions to revenue and expenditure, the primary balance on commitment basis remains unchanged at a surplus of 1.5% of GDP. Based on the revisions to revenue and expenditure, the following fiscal balance on cash basis improves from a deficit of 4.1% of GDP to 3.8% of GDP. I mean the fiscal balance. The overall fiscal balance on commitment basis improves from a deficit of 3.1% to 2.8%, and the projected annual borrowing needs of government reduced by 4.3 billion Ghana cedis. Simple put, we will be borrowing less by 4.3 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, risk to 2025 budget, risk to the 2025 fiscal framework. Mr. Speaker, despite the robust fiscal performance, there are some underlying risks which pose a threat to the 2025 fiscal framework. The risks are as follows: shortfalls in customs revenue, smuggling of marine gas oil, mounting wage pressures, and pricing and award of contract in foreign currency. The Speaker, I'll take them one by one. Customs revenue. Right Honorable Speaker, customs revenue recorded a significant shortfall of 1.6 billion, even though the overall revenue is doing well, representing 12.7% reduction from the first half of 2025. This performance is attributed to systemic revenue leakage at key customs collection points, particularly the Tema port and the smuggling of goods across our land borders. Mr. Speaker, these developments pose risk to the attainment of our revenue target for the year 2025. To mitigate these risks, government is implementing the following measures to address the existing operational challenges to safeguard revenue. 1, we will adopt the use of artificial intelligence, AI, to minimize human interference in revenue assessment, supporting the validation of the country of origin, as well as the accuracy of classification and valuation of imported goods. Mr. Speaker, we are rolling out advanced cargo information system to ensure that the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA, and the Ghana Revenue Authority, the GRA, receives comprehensive shipment detail at least 24 hours prior to vessel departure from the port of origin. Mr. Speaker, this will enable pre-arrival risk assessment, reduce the need for documentation amendment, and facilitate more accurate and timely duty assessment. We will also be implementing a robust anti-smuggling surveillance program targeting both inland and maritime borders. And to those at Sankase, we are coming after you. Mr. Speaker, reviewing the institutional setup of Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, including staff mobility. Mr. Speaker, let me repeat this. We will be reviewing the institutional setup of Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, including staff mobility, to facilitate the decentralization of customs operations. Mr. Speaker, operational risk assessment to enhance transparency and accountability of staff will be enhanced. Now I will take you to the smuggling of marine gas oil, MGO. Right Honorable Speaker, tax exemptions on marine gas oil was introduced to support non-artisanal fishing fleet operating from Ghana. Over the years, the tax exemptions have created incentive to abuse and smuggling of MGO onto the open market, resulting in revenue losses estimated at nearly $500 million Ghana cedis every year. The government will withdraw the tax exemption to curb smuggling and stem the erosion of tax revenue, thereby reducing the fiscal risk to the 2025 budget. Mr. Speaker, I now take you to wages and salary, which happens to be the third risk to the budget. Right Honorable Speaker, we have seen some significant pressures on the compensation budget for the first half of 2025, mainly emanating from wages and salaries. Wages and salaries exceeded the target by 1.3 billion Ghana cedis for the first 6 months of the year. Mr. Speaker, the wage pressures were largely driven by last-minute recruitment undertaken by the previous MPP administration in the last quarter of 2024, especially in the areas of education, health, and security sector. Mr. Speaker, let me repeat. The wage pressures we are largely seeing are driven by the last-minute recruitment undertaken by the previous government in the last quarter of 2024, especially in areas of education, health, and the security sector. In addition, ad hoc reviews of conditions of service undertaken in previous years have distorted the single spine pay policy and further burdened the public wage. Mr. Speaker, the government is implementing the following measures to address this.
Commanding in budget review, Finance Minister Dr. Kesla to force in the bar in Mashibu Jefi and Ra. Yet not enough here, Dion Como. Abija Fatna said that. Midini Kwame Otter Junior Bits my friend Mikoji Yanase yɛna yɛaboafo ase yɛnda yɛtiefo ase mo a mohwɛ wɔ Facebook na afei so mo a motie online nyame hyira mo nyina nyawie metina mu de ama nana wotu dako kwame kwachita machi na de dwumadi ebro na awie and I'm sure Sandra wotie France minister amafo ani agye san sɛ taxi foforo bi ni ho eba beka ho. And of course, so Teniama Bibina Aban FSA Wamaya Aban Si Wamaya no 5 billion Ghana cedis to contractors, $2.4 billion Ghana cedis to National Health Insurance Scheme, 477 million to leave, 300 million Ghana cedis no fee stress, 25 million Ghana cedis to assembly members, 2 billion to recapitalize the NIB, 2.7 billion paid to SNITs. Debt to GDP reduced from 61% to 47%. Payment of capitation grants, $1 billion to senior high schools, free senior high school mature. Yema bija fa kwaba na Geoffrey Okansi tax experts wa joining Eofia Sanso and Ura Samuel Agri General Secretary at the Food and Beverages Association Sanso and David Aguado Ekasa at the Concerned Drivers. Mamema wama kwaba na afiyeshe komo twetwe na se. Geoffrey akwaba.
Ayeja.
Bijini se bia bokodi.
Adom. Sorry dey dey start da banya.
Ye dey nyame ase. Mesagi ya ma kwa ye share o TV so. David mama kwa ba so.
Enia meje so.
Geoffrey Mamesha say free ho bijide say enra who pay critical attention to near finance minister Accra here. Wakwa tax expert in fact with the tax charge or minor food to say match ye pa. Key things are a woman here from the finance minister. I'm sure some can say no tax was introduced. But by you.
2007 say 2007 say young Fabian Beckham and na ebi musu ho na omaye omedwuma awie budget ya di we nanim no main budget no ebi mu fio na aka ebi ewo ho COVID levy no potokasa me say if it backs it is a dog. Once it backs like a dog, it's a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, so levy na wo ho no and COVID levy aka no me say aban crash chire say ye ntwen ye nhwe say ye edwuma bi me say obehwa ye honka ebi ma ye twa so ye twa ye honka ne bi so ama ya sha ahwe ni amem say e ka ne bi so e wo ho a ebe abedore yen that's the challenges and the debts that has accrued and no so ho enti aka COVID na ye be yi free ho na COVID no so ye mu bi mu ene aban edin kita ho say so obetimi a ka ye man entna enso ye de be fa mrahye bejafi so we repurpose it say ebe ye health emergency fund na say COVID beto aye ana ebola unity no that readiness say unya buffer bi unya ske bi a eda ho won say na ye say uyare sesi a say o papa we ska de obeko hospital ye say afiansa okobobe enti no sa no ye say nye say ska bi ya ye bi da ye bi ma heritage fund skibia ye de to ho nti o budget ni ma yam say to ho say na bi ambem na de aka ne say aka ba ku bi ye say ye twene san a ono wa be ye ne dwuma wi a potokasem wo be kasa news and stacks na aka wo ho and so ye to no ejiji nsema revenue no yam say yakoye nim kakra and so na ya hwi eso wo bebi ya hwi ska wo bebi airport nyama efi amanane ye be fa border mu e land and nsuo so no yam say customs kan gigi no yam say ye to sini kakra nti aban kra chika say o de abefo no so nchi bi by oboba poto custom say A1 initiative as in A1 we say AI technology. So when you look at it, AI technology would actually refine the system ebe yi nipa hu ebe di 20 gg the human interface ebe twina asan kakra. So nim say obi anka so obi bebo kro no mu na so nipa kodos insa kodos wo mu a obekọ yenyanum Kenya haya omuniama nyina obi a osra usika krap okwan kra obeka se fato mpesa so ma no obakọ menim papa enti se oba Ghana na ye din kita hu na mumu ufa mumu Ghana hana hwam na ye mumu ye wo mfifi na ase on ye mumu dodo na ska fon bebre na e bank ni other transactions not always mumu ati ase nti say ye duru ho enso ya na empese ye be share ye ho kena entina na 11 no ha ye mu bi mu pa no e mankofo dwane fia befo no so nti ho no na ye say pia ye ho share ukọ national park e Kenya na okra $1,000 crap wa ofa omonye e park ho say utua mpesa
okay
ofa car e Kenya na odi ho agro na so the paper be ya dia e no be boka driver bia entimi nyanse somehow so omuji sika no va mpesa enti bebia yeduru ho ese no be yi katoshe ne pro no dodo na afim ha ginya refer ade na nse obe eto no ntuachi a so de fa ahoma no so na we yes ade sa na nyina e be kire se nkofo 10 na etu a e wo national park e Kenya na nkofo 10 na ba o sa ada na pen pepe na etu aka
every figure is accurate
sa obi aka so bi bebo kro no unse asori fi okra me no bi ko asori praise be pentecost ye to ni ya ko fini ama ye pon ya say Monday for my 1,000 Sunday for my 100 in cancer so for be scan so ye say ye bu nkonta wo ha enti na nkrofo etu tight and so katas asempe na nkrofo bu efu no that's the reason why people are free out of will paying tithes, and when you come to them say oh be je eto pe na kai omo say ofa gina won nka ti dodo na won be kasa nyina no we mu no mo hwe nti wo hwe ndra kasa ni mu a oka bebia eto na ya jeje ni amani sika no bebia ya hwiri bi ebi a ye po say be boa Ghana no say omo konsuo so afarefo ya omo ko ye omo dwuma yi ye ma omo oil bi a ye say e bo omo dwuma marine gas oil MGO eno no kobrane ayi efi Ghana edi pie ekoton ama ya bo ho ka 500 million Ghana cedis so uti I am say na we bet me di agro because say scan bobo na na say pepe no ya body agro and so the be ban ya mamu a ya na be say mi ba infrastructure mu this is loss of about 250 schools.
Wow.
Yes, you build a 6 classroom block between 1 million and 1.5 million Ghana cedis and to work 250 of basic schools and now we egu sa no so that can okay ekida ke see 250 who divided by region so your guess of course mine about 15 to between 10 and 15 schools in each of the 16 regions.
Serious infrastructure.
Yeah, tuegu and to say de bia won say ka say ahwiri sike bia yan fan hwe say ke say the 6 school guy and na ye see hospital ahe na ke benya nti dem a ye di Ghana dem no enu sa na o kan ndra no wo hwe sa ngofo agigi e ho de nam maadwene na afi makoka on finfin ho e fa esike ya ye de betua o mo ya je o modwuma yi that we say 1.6 billion because ngofo de agi o mo kan ne kwan so say ke say ye hwe na ka agencies no o mo ne Ministry of Finance kasa ansana ya agi san ngofo nti yakoye nim afi o mo say baby bia yema omunti ase ansana omuntima clearance so on the overall share inflation and so about from niama no na bo no yem say ya unions no and ya associations no I mean say associations no mean say guta mean say fabako bia omone ginari boss no oba so ne omuhia yem say onkita hundie no aban cratch ohwe to no gye no ne omu kan say kan omu ma kakra na ya ifaso kakra na eba no ka endore omu nyama na omu ton by ni omu ya adwen so kakra say bi muso ansha stockpile na ansha to ade no enim ansha na sa time no ebo de to no won yi enu fi mu no enso tie ne be de ama na kakra nsan kita hudi ne betimi akoso yakoye nim kakra me hwe say aban krachi ohwe skasem so ni omu tena say de bia me ka se hwe nkomodie ni kita hudi no enu nyame na obo ni wiase ne kra bo de kasa na hia ase let there be like there's there this na nyame ne kra beteki decisions me frɛ ne nkrofo ne mba ne bi e ka kyerɛ say lot me be se ha me bufu what I say na se nyame na odi ne kra po ne nkrofo di kita hudi a na wa ye to ahye won say fa hwe nyame aso maye no utwa say de bia wo ne yen e bu nkonta na so oti omu ye mpifo omu crack omu cars na de ama se fa ko ejuma oba wo say wo de car number why say sinti che so de say sin be na won kan hwe say navigator na enso bi ma won kan kire no wo person na ba ko navigator no say mechanic bi na de man na e twa so ka kire no so de car ne ko ma mechanic we wo say ni say sa nya ma nya say din kita won na che say aban ye discussion is na wo ye ejuma na ombre kire ya me say o ma sha say eyi na de bia me kan sen bi say ye bompa e ma so be na endori nyina because I'm a Catholic and we say that in what we have done and what we have failed to do.
Sure.
Niama wayɛ ne niama wanyɛ no sɛ wokɔhwɛ saa boss name si ayɛ ken.
14,000.
Obi ma adwuma nkɔfo nka ho so de omudi aka ho. So wɔn de o national service secretariat so saa esika we mu nyinaa no ɛsɛ ɛhwɛ ɛsɛ sɛ sisi amemma pɛ bebi a aban no akɔgyina no ɛna ɛyɛ so kan na yɛ ni agye kɛkɛ o yɛbɛhwɛ so mbɛyɛ ha na sɛ obi ɛbɛka sɛ nkɔfo 1,000 ɛyɛ adwuma wɔ ha wɔbra a ɔmo yɛ bɛyɛ sɛ 800 ɔsi sisi ano ɔmo de bɛ wo validation officer na ɔtena hɔ na wo yɛ take no sɛ ka yɛ ntua obi ka kɔbɛ bɛ nim sɛ ɔngye ne sika na yɛ dɛ na ne obi deɛ bɔ so de awɔnka ana ebi fa bebi awo de wuhu wo dwuma no sɛ ɔbɛ
take who say all these validators no aban no running on bidi
they say they will be surcharged and na dom level yes obey bia ohwe ne dwuma na sɛ sisi ana aban ba kwa ba no so de nsa bɛ hyɛ ase de a ɛna yɛhwɛ ne mfra yɛ hama no ɔtwe ne nsa ne ɛnde yɛ de besi so ɛsɛ obi ɛwɔ hɔ ama ɔno ɛne dwuma kra no so de nkɔfo ghost names bɛka ho na sisi ana ebi yɛ dem yɛ ka obi wɔ ɔte kyira ɔnte ase o na sɛ sika nyina ka betina yɛ bibia yɛ den aboa Ghana na yɛ nyina tim no nti sɛ ɔno aka sɛ we yɛ nhyehyɛ ɔmo de ato hɔ de ane yɛ hwɛ ɔmo sɛ ɔmo bɛhwɛ na challenges na maka yɛ nyinaa no wa ɔmo responsive actions a ɔmo de bɛhwɛ ɛde twa efiri hɔ sɛ ɔmo twa ɔmo ho ka so ɛne nneɛma no wa kyerɛkyerɛ yɛ nyinaa nneɛma ɔmo ka budget nso ɔmo bɛɛ no sɛ sɛ ɔbobɔ bi sɛ ɛyɛ sɛ ɔse ɔmo ka sɛ ɔmo bɛma level 100s for no on be more free social media so say nkwa na bi mo unless for any teacher for so age omo
allowances ya
hone de aban no ne timamfo no na omo agreement major frequency mo adwen krofo fa ho kakra
okay
esan say ye huma bi e kire say ye ma omo so efi diploma e de tertiary nti na afefe omo ba say university for na e de ka me allowance no kenye inye ni loan si I can ebri be twem no yes ye chin ko hobium esa say omo so ye tertiary students omo so mo kwaji loan tesi a university for na say sika na ohun say e dey mo omo no ye no mu din kita no mo nti ase ye say ye de say sika no ekoye industrial investment bi na say ke to bus scrap de ma nkofo a driver union scrap no mo de ye transport businesses eko na nim kakra e na omo so nya returns e be tua government car ebre on be wie school no na aspect ni ebi bebre ama ya twa omo na school adan ni yesi bebre a ya twa omo a omo wie school ana omo nya adwuma
okay
se ska na odi ni sesi ya no me nka se me em wo omo ba omo man nyina ya nyene ho nse na me hwe scholarship na e ho no aba we yes or review e ho no manage ho e san say course bi wa na e bi o Ghana ha me de mo bi 1000 pepe no fan full play no fan ko e bi ama sani ama nyina
we cry on fan be boy man
oba be dey ba na say nyese o tda o crap no dey sa ehuma ne ko ye edwuma ebi fa obi ko fa ehuma ne ye edwuma biom o mo tra na o mako ye just say me hwe obi I'm not looking down on any job but krata na ye this carry do no man no so fan ko
enye hu edwuma no
on fan ye say edwuma ni bi obo so o de go chika na o de be chika de fa be chika ga Ghana na fa say ska no enye transport business no expanded just say the cars nyama de eye ma oboni bia no bibi eso ye ma yen kan me no ye pon ye se kan bus bi si bebi e tu eco baby na ya ma support na private for ye kika bus bi de card ni ama na ebe kwa enchine yen Rwanda omo ye na se metiana na omo ku Rwanda e na me papa ko pata omo no mo ja ntokwa na omo sisi omo ku na me meti ya meti enti me de no de bia maka se Ghana is not a poor country, we are only a poorly managed country. Kwa nkuma kana misisu pin say untimi he nyame no se ka mini nyame adanfo pa meka ten so on boy timodin be say 10 years na wo ma gold diamond bauxite lithium ba na say ye wa ma lithium ni bi well go fa no so bu ho enam yi chana fo be yi utuna efunsi popopopo
no ma ko process asan ya bro
o ma wonsuo e ma obibi he you ya o mo Dubai no o mo tonsuo o te ha uwo nsuo uwo ewia uwo dua je say on forest na o mole park enye wo na o de elephant ko gu ho enye wo na o de gu ho butterfly na gu afada to no so enye wo na o de ko hye ho oboni be hwe bia yesi Ghana ha no ye butterfly no kon ko ho bon say different types nta brofo no ba ekra camera no mu twetwetwa o twewia o cheuska ye be hwe mo wa no elephant no ye mfidi o ma no mu ko pe o meduane mole on ya omo pede ma mo jane na obi be hwe elephant ni say agojo wi a wa ma osika in corona time na me ni yesu wa no na ije too su kese pa because of tourism. No, my economy, a robust economy like Egypt is based on tourism. In the people show mountain or be share faja to na nyawa odi to on huli. You show no go from our here we are wa Mosca and also so bre. Wa ma go diamond bauxite, am a rubber, am timber, am cocoa. Mo fa hwe nka ho. And the bia na se bottom no de ko. And
what is used for refinery?
The lesser minerals, yalan ko for any enka ho.
Yeah.
Obi chenka onya no kwa akobe ye ho hu adwuma ama economy na gina o CPC ta. Eso wu to well. De bia ko dink town dey say de bia ye obi betu ni gold. Owia no am 1%. Hey, you yes or Dogana. Dogana bet me with them. Anyway, just to from 1% to 3%, my heart breaks. Now, Ghana phone be mukrapo, I can anako share industry phone say 3% near your economy. Hey, o papa was asking a good year, shall be two. Now, no one say 50% profit, no, 40% share operations more. Sa 10% na aka no o sa so eno betwe hima menchi agi 7 wa mo 3 eno so crap no so mpene na kroben so na obetini ama o gina o sei e mo pene we nti Ghana no ya mi say o gudie no in problems ni bi no makache o ni ama bi o mo so mo aye no mas listening na back as say aduma na ba me ne so ya yete yeso say di ni be bi ekire say yi scan bi e de koma level 100 for no say me no yi hu so me ni age so machi ya hwe nursing ya teacher training ne ayi ma free menstrual pad no me say me can say ye free menstrual ye taxes ni so na aban so akona nim so de bi beche girls no say me can asore dem cry bun konta na ha no so de o ma ye show bibiri ye huna de sisi a betwe ma yenji esike wi nje de kan de be yen start me o mo ne fa pen say o fa we mo hona o mbo se bukuma o kraka no ba kokko so akọ ba kwa ba no otike na banka ti for no my page no mutini nya and yanko bookman for no yanko employer na mo be yamai. Okay,
enti before me ba Samuani David on a quick one on Finance Minister can say we are not out of the woods yet. Yeah. Of course, we are still in challenging times. Yeah. But Finance Minister is very optimistic. Say by the end of the year, no dear. Na omayno edu level bia do will not be there yet, but the do level bia this will be a home by hand kakra. Do you share that same view with the minister per the indicators given yesterday?
Enra adi ama yehu ne kire se pepem so ya bedui ya be nim kakra nso se ono aka ye no ye ndu be bia ya betimi abose enti yese ono aka won se bibia yedui yem se niama ni bi wa tse a gold board o mo di ba yi un se gold no na kana na bia na nkofo no mo dre ye no na no she Portugal say illicit financial flow na ye Ghana pe Africa nyina a cash total of 88 billion pe na o mu wi afa edem eko enti ebi wo kra mo de fafa border na wa America no kra pa o se kan obetwa ne fencing kra po enti me ntwa enti de Ghana de be na fence ye ho te mu da ho ofo di ewusa enso say ye good body afi ya shemra che se wo de call abontimi edua wo de na che se nye wo de biom nti na mankofo ni bi mu kakra no kra po sign eti kakra yi hwema me ma in the year 2018 na Ghana book mu no ya tro say go de fi Ghana call United Arab Emirates one source pe by bia ba ko pe no na ye se ye humo ni ye se 2 billion and if Ghana call omo mu nkra te mo na 7 billion say wa me ma wo juma no ka tell me say gold ya odi koma offer we you know 2 billion offer we ma nkonta ma na master no say wa beton gold 7 billion. We had lost taxes on 5 billion cities worth of we say gold actually say tax actually you know say tax na 2% crap calculate na she say skanya actually enti na kobrani nim say hade o de fema be yi e o do nim say o kwa e de nti nti odu ope no obu nkonta na pepepe so hade no we yi e wagajere nti sa gold board and confess o munti ase o mbeti ase papa o man ti ase so e be yes mo mati ase say omu yes so they pretend they are confused, they are not. Owning do go for kana 90 cartel go for shimpa na omu di hu duma anya omu sika bi e di free and so what they say means you we no e de me so me ma wona ye de say scan bi e be ye sa task force no ye be sra ban no fen bi o mechiri yin twa so omu so omu yes omu be smuggling no so no ye nchi om sa nyama pay say aban no hwe so no ye dia and they say our bank crash aka no in fifi ho na ya bedu no e bit na ma ye ho so akoyenim kakra akobu mpempem so bia maybe we share a big push into 24-hour economy nyina mu no we share sectors nyina nyama mo so mo be akwan ni nyama mo be nyina no etwa say nyanum so mo so transport ejuma no mo so mo hwe se mo te se aban se du akwanta to we wa ye kwan no wona wo do arefa so oh enti Ghana ha no ye atima mo fo na say ye networking oh yeah na say ye ka say oh from back before do akọ ni goose odi fi akọ ha ono so ne papa we na ejuma na mo hwe efa kwan no so e goose ni bi efi ankra ha ekọ se entu ye ni omo me no ye society watch no any media no ye ba akọ ye bisa say of na wo ko de ni amani di ekọ se no wo se kwan no ma ye o se o de bi omo nye baba na also o ye say mo ko transport so they me chance na ebubu na de kwan yanka ono so aka asem ni then we can meet and have that discussion se oman for ni ya ho ni ayewo pa kieni se okay drop that chamber so okay parliament yes say ono ekosi new chamber no yes there be phone we so near the fire ogo demonstration okobi e ko baby yanko baby ha phone so drop that chamber and the chamber was dropped. We have the power citizens. Fantastic.
Na no to da kwaba obe take over shortly na Makoto Media so class FM but my main bra Samuel Agri so General Secretary Food and Beverage Association. So far abindly taking over abaya so many measures odi egu akwemu. Send a business it here ewo mumu Media mu. Are you really seeing the resetting agenda based on the government indicators what shall say am I?
Yo, that's an opinion. In fact, I should say so far so good, based on what Nemaya Huno. It's answer first no, Nanka, Ejuma Uyeno, Nemanu Bono Straneko. Unya leverage Biana, work planning, or your friend is saying with daily activity. It's answer one name, say Obeda Besoyno, Nesikano, maybe a Kujinano. You can't tell.
Yeah.
And we a business person and trading your friends and I say, oh yeah, calculations in my team be and so yeah higher projection. So higher projections no and I command my boss of course because as I say you see no M1. Now M1 no baby says no one a bad policy that is generated by the government. Nti no asama me issue finance minister then Furiata okaso be ni maybe no everybody was sitting there. I don't hide my feeling. I say it as it is. E ka kire no kwanya opeso ode emfa so no e be man nema boa yedi osi mehwe emfa me ho the cost of production e ka kire no osi ye be ye hu ejuma and so nothing was done but rather the essential of say you beji high taxes na nkofo ni twa nesan say we bad policy no na say e kodrum pempen so bia sika wo hwehwe no samba ebeba ni sa fe de metu nimem na fe no nkofo aba betua na obetu nimem mo etua no na che say nyema no bo no soro na eko soro na e create more problem nti ube hu say you introduce some of the taxes any your friends saying levies no BBT is a benchmark at the point where amuka say you bet to nyema 100% recovery you can change and for we yes I didn't pay it be create a lot of problem nti na be ya entwin sign is and say that is the determining factor so benchmark and what is the meaning of benchmark what the nyema na ba no I will declare say $1 no aban so tena ho e ka cho say there be enye $1 $2 me ko internet so sa na eton no nti me de be ma $2 nti ono beto no asan aton ama aton ma wi a afi ho na wo de duties ni nyema no e be ka ho no de ka ho so ensi ho Nema bebree ekoso wo port no mo a. In fact, enye ne kwanso no. We tua usika no mo de COVID tax no eka ho a. What it means ni say we wie na we tua no pempenso sika na bedu no say bedu 100 cedis a ye de COVID tax na ka ho. We tua ho VAT of 17.5%. We tua wie a you send the network charges aka original cost no. Wasan kutua VAT. We tua wie a any other levies e ka ho no ye de ka ho wie a we tua VAT. We tua 3 times so.
Yeah.
We are ya san ya be ma the final cost of the duty that you have to pay. And say the VAT asan ya show. Na we tua. Nti we bisa ho say adenti na ade ba kwa meto no. Yetumi e de friends say taxes be eto so. Na wo de ba warehouse na say we wie na say san ye akoye distribution na. We be san ye sa calculation no. Nti by the time wo beton onema na wie no you are paying a tax component of about 21.9%. So now we are catching a banzer Debbie. A quan way dear your first way ye. Sa COVID tax the whole world. COVID buy no and yet ye near cover buy. And one buy. Aba a tree marco. And no crutchino. The maintenance of that health system no. In for a contributor. My mind be brave my isika just to fight this COVID. But unfortunately, when we finish, government announced say Obama free water and free electricity for 3 months. I went on air. I told them that you catch us Obama will be free. We won't be obeje free or until Obama free.
Or the shower seprego.
Or china Obama beji. Until my njisa abanwe endi. If it comes to freebies, we shouldn't. Yentie yakoji ye we no eno ne COVID tax na de buy no to recoup the money that they have spent. But me organization Fabak, we made a lot of contribution through the membership. Ekoye presentation e de ma buy. So sky de ma omo in dollars any cedi. Nti at the time nema so enkoye na ye ka say because at the end of the day, no, whatever tax that you impose, you are not imposing on that business. You are imposing on the citizens. It's say whatever be my cost, somebody must pay for it.
Yeah.
And I want a bit here, a final consumer. No. Until you should be very careful how we introduce certain things. Until when a policy comes and it's not good, you have to know it's not good. So now, when you know yes, I then no coffers and na at the buyer no. Esan say timemufo no ekasa ye no ni je manaka but say sorry to say nia enu e kan ye ya nka ne mebi wo ha ye nye so ade no ntino say aban ye bibia ono beka say timemufo no me ya mamu no is because of the as they are there we elected them to work on our behalf nti so mo ye nyema enya e say to make and no more pen on the bet now. Yen drisa to me no. I share almost as someone ye. Into a mobile somebody ye as custodians are anything or whatever voice the citizens spew out to say we yempe esemutie. But we thank God. Bibia ebiano communication. Eka say when government is doing anything and I say bibi obey your environment biano. Communication is very important. Esan say when to me any amanfo ndi nkita ho a na ebesi ni say ne obey no obi anti ase. So nti no na chese ne ebe biano ese tumi kire oman ni say na ye wi a afi no ebenya eho mfaso say ye hwe na enya ho mfaso ese da bi enya no ti na ye elect ye parliamentarians no odesu promulgate a very good law law say betumi aboa etimemufo no na say ye na say mboa ya then there's a big problem in the way we make our presentations in parliament and then also bringing certain investors to come and take our money away. Your friend saying presentation no bebia ye no eboa empire the tax system no air flat rate because me di kan say here sidi no eba from no ye na ye hu the way we never expected say within a month you see the no let me drop power be do 10 cedis 30 pesos at that time na ubebisa hu say e den na trigger saniama no it's say when people have confidence in the economy and in the system it makes a lot of changes and then nearby we share your friend is saying pronouncement government nankasa year from the very beginning when they took office said they will fight corruption. That created a big difference. Fighting corruption, you create confidence in the external factors. Nkofwa omo ebo obusiane sa niema no omo nim se niema nkoye. But when you take steps to say I'm going to fight it, you have given an indication say you are going to do the right thing. Now you know we are going to curb government expenditure and also no you create more confidence. As I say ye per se inye bibidi ejina so di ejuma, then it means what you put in place and how it will also affect the people that you are governing. Now omoka asano that confidence was there. It came ye kan tembia se hwe aban bia se obema ne currency ayedin and as a bejina year the reserve that you have and a bit me aboa any the kind of policies that you introduce to fight whatever that
which of the reserves?
The gold reserve, bullion reserve, because as I say, they're all over the world. Countries now, good strong currencies. Just look at their bullion reserves.
That's right.
So and yet just paper, but you can see them. I will feel say, in fact, if there are any external way, they can rely on the reserve and then fight that. But we're just taking the money and then spending the money anyhow, taking the gold and then exporting or smuggling the gold out. Ebini ka say oil for gold, and no obi to me account for. Oh, inti ye to gold okrum ha. Inti ba ne sen na manone a omuntu gold no. Omumum gold esin wa wutu gold no. You should have the reserve and then the excess you export. But this is not the case. We export what we take in near ye be two or four
in raw measure.
Oh, and no nama galamsey it take your friends saying order of the day. Ye into me in no kwano. But there's hope. Send ye sorry original says anyama way say to me it trasono. Ye be traso. Esan say you are calling for it. Inti say wo into one more. You can say here the government of the day no ye na ye na esi ho na ye constitution so ma ho kwan say government no anase president no bibia ye be ye bia no efa ye gudie ho nsem they are holding in trust for the people until you don't try to mess whatever money that we have ena ye ni ho kwan say nipa kakra bi be kwa kotu egudi ayemi ne wo yedia eba no sana na wia na ye wia no so ha de no nti we are fighting a good cause. We will get there.
I've even made a claim say sanke possible because like you said Ghana mamrano ese agudie bi e wasase ase e yo manfo ne dia no mampanin bi otin kunya bunu so no hweso as trustee mo manfo nti aya na mentum ho asika kra soro o madwem se ba ne sen ana nipa ku bi ana kwanti kura bi temi so de kase aha ya me concession ya ma me ho emra mu nkrata nti mi tu otu wi a sika no yere dia no wetua task akra bi amaban na constitution no say agudi na show no me otu da ko me so me die wo oni ba ko so age egu otu na me die no na de ma me nti I'm even thinking say we must gravitate towards an era agudie bi a wo bi aban ne betu wo ye adwuma no wo ye adwuma maban as an agent because it doesn't make sense to me
otherwise the share has to be greater.
Nigeria has 51% in oil shares. Momo dey saying
10% or 15%.
Very, very sad.
So you know there are certain things that you put in place and our policies are would be to kwan mu a ebema o friends economy no ebeko yie eno na ya sha ase aye hu na menko fast forward
Very well.
towards the flat rate and as the tax system yen tembia yesu wa aka no tembia na meka say your tax system no enya correct nti aban hwe na onye hu bibi yaka asem me start kan no 2012 and me start kan asem we say hwe VAT na ye no the component of it no is dire because you can't just say you are 2%. At the end of the day, you pay around 10%, and yet 2%.
Calculations
but on the on the face of it, no, we say 15.5%.
Wow.
Even at the rate on the bar 4%, you na you both say yes and papa no. That 4% no, all the calculation at the end of the day no, you pay 9%. You are not paying 4% instead of 4%. So are there no?
Who raise the issues about this?
We raise the issue in some way. Me okay. You can say as a station Samaka say na baby asma me can say even with government friends and meetings now there. Recently when we met the minister for finance, I told him
okay.
So if VAT now you can say VAT yetua na identity na 17.5%. Now also you uje frame ho. Now fe no metua bibia 21.9% the amount. Na just say woni mendi ne ye. Wafa kana na bi so na woji mesika. Na ese etumi hwe sa na ma no. Na etumi because you implement two different way of tax, the sales tax and then the profit tax that you're implementing. By doing so, what it means is say we are paying more. Calculations no are to pay the outer friends a final outcome of it no. Ye brew any so. And no thing as a GRA about wo facility. Na wo kotu of VAT or beka just VAT na wo tua na correct. They are Ansah traders businesses near the ye. You beka just VAT or calculate here no and correct. Adentia my accountant so at nasa yin na pepepe. Se my
discrepancy in free.
Discrepancy no GRA penalty ase.
Oh no, like how?
Yes. Because who catch him say nyama ye no enya correct. Na oba no be audit me. Na fe catch him say nyama tua no enya sa na metua ye. Nje say metua more. Some more no calculation na wo use here no. I must know. But don't use your calculation. Menti ase na on fa nye. Na fe wunji misika bubro na on kan chem say enwa na ese metua. Se ban sa so a se nipa officer na waba no se nyame ncha dia na se nyame an kana koma na so you be on so believe in corruption and then you have to negotiate with that officer
but
as to how we to ati the calculation.
The point in say 1 + 1
A2.
There can be two-way calculation.
That is the
any tax.
That is the issue. So what
it's
I'm telling you,
A or B.
Yeah.
Anna yenya yati say A and you calculate taxes. Eban is saying Anna papa no ye secretary my beverages for calculation you wrong.
Yeah.
Na just a GRA pay. Any GRA chire me calculation no.
No.
Na da manya no cry. Ananyeza.
No. Entina yeka say our calculations and then the VAT itself that they are implementing tax no is wrong.
Wow.
And now thank God. Your friend saying Minister Naka say we need to admit here. And he admitted yesterday.
Say it must be rational.
Say in fact, say I'm year, no, VAT no has a different component in one item.
That's right.
That you have to pay. In Suya so many taxes on them. Akoban say wakra there by the end there and yakra. Inti say yehwe. Say ne yeto no, ana na yetua no, enwa na yetua. And Koban say me kona me koto adia. Na say ka say me ntua me VAT, na say me kwakotua. At the end of the day, no VAT na metua no. I'm paying multiple VAT on the same item that I've paid VAT already. Because your value, your friends and your tax, no, say better as the VAT system, no. So, and then I can also the value added tax. Into when I'm adding the value, I add the tax. But the value hasn't come, and I'm paying for what I have to pay. Make hyper 1995 when the friends say the VAT we buy, you know. Akufo-Addo time. Rollins time. And Waka say, Yentuas to no.
I think Atamas was head of IRS, right?
Yeah. Yentuas to no. But to no, if you look at the calculation, and Yama no the bar, Fako warehouse, Netuya VAT ne ka na ton na jiska no.
Oh, okay.
So but you realize say input output no was creating a problem. Inti sa dia wo de yeso ye hiska into me ntwe na nkoton ne ma no. Inti tuaska no up front. So utua uditi na ye de sa VAT no calculation ne ka ma utia. Inti se me move stock from the port to my warehouse. What I have to do is say me this ni amaton no metua no e ka ni amematon no. So na fi me dem ma wo consumer na utia no ano na ewie because finished products and me dey aba na me ton. Inti the effect say you need to pay on another VAT again. Some the supply ma supermarket na me supply ma friends and 24 no mo kwakoton wa.
Okay.
Almost mo kwakoton no you expect some betua VAT e wo so. Eno na e ba ni say sa informal sector no yeso mo ntua 4%.
Okay.
Na ebini mo ntua 17.5%.
Uniform.
So but na e yapo ni say wo hwe time a Akufo-Addo take over as president. Na ono a opposition member in 1995. That was when Kumi Preku took place because the NTS say they 15% VAT aba. And Upona is 7.5 when they started 7.5. Then later migrated to 12 and then 0.15. The person who didn't believe in raising value tax,
he increased it.
He increased it to 17.5. So you ask yourself, what kind of person is this? Ono de who can be bia untie. Your person ye no, and no annoy. So are there no. But as we are doing that, no, I say what you say, Timemufo no, o meet me to ya. Saying to me, you identity as or impose. It is a businesses must pay VAT. That's almost almost to me to ya. So
sometimes it's not also because man for no to me and Mr. Guado maybe briefly. It's not also because MPP in through to tia name near the 20 year. And to me nkoso njime to so the year coin. Na me
now we just can scan so which is can go
so it doesn't make sense say MPP be tia na yen first scanning konkoya be here.
Eto no ye be ko so etua. But how reasonable?
They should use it for
how reasonable must we pay? Inti no say yakase yentua expand it. Inti say 10 cities now begia manipa 10 into no be antua 1 city. But men chem say nipa me nupe na etua inti say 10 cities no. Me etua 5 ono so etua 5. Na 8 na aka no omo de omo te omo ntua hwen. Inti e say me raise sa 10% no e de ma sa 8 no. But say yen na etua bia sa 10% no ebeba mo bi etua 1 ama ne si 10% ama yen na yen ho
or you may get more.
Benya puma na so in certain cases
because then,
you know say if the compliance level anko yia na che say taxes na wo mutua no they don't understand and o muntumi ntua nti no yen tua kra.
Okay.
Nti say ban say djuma me ye no na wo ka chem say me mbe tua sa scanner say me hwe na mentumi ntua de me hwe kwan bia kwan a mefa so a metumi tua bia ma na ne aka ne kese ya na no metena so enye den a businesses no will try to find a way not to pay the full tax that they are supposed to pay. But when they are supposed to pay the taxes, it shouldn't be paying 20% and keeping the 80% there. But because the compliance level near high, you know, government will be 90% of the taxes that you need. And you know, a ban sana, if they are putting even 10% in their way, it happens. It will happen.
But it shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't be said. It will override. And no,
it shouldn't happen.
Well, and no, it happens everywhere.
It happens.
It happens.
But it means we also have a weak system.
Well, there be. See,
we have a weak system.
We can say
and the internet happen.
The weak system that we have is the high taxes that they are imposing on you.
Okay, so I agree with that point.
Well, intino say ekobani say mina me ba betua.
Okay.
Enye den a ne mebi wo hono mo a ebebu afamani so nti bia no me hu mentua eno na se GR ba ma afi no omu so why mistake to apa they capitalize on that for you to pay more so are there no but se compliance level no e wo high rate na se mitua no e reasonable Inti adentina me kwakọ tua me kwakọ ye ade a se yeso me mu a me ho be kire me. Esan say wa ma me akwanya no se me ntua ne se me tua kakra bi na me tua e de ama. Inti there's no need for us to raise the bar for government to think that I'm getting the target that I want. But the target that you are getting, no, before no, now we have 5%. Say we raise it by 15%.
Disagree first, mami.
Into no, yakwe yenim no, yeah part no, the VAT now say can say be rationalize no, and do I say they are going to look at it. The consultations are still ongoing, and therefore by 1st October no. People be on the parliament now on be say on betumi aye ho adwuma na afi wako abaya announcement am say yi we ye free ho COVID tax above first as man can say we could have put that one under NHIS. There's nothing like COVID tax in the world. Until ye free ho ye change the name fanko NHIS. So be a better say I'm paying more for me to get better medical service. So I don't know. But who can COVID tax now the 200 more? Are you not putting yourself in a place?
So in your case, do you think that Ansah COVID tax, like Minister Eka said somewhere in September, no one more here say me a year free honor. Also sank ye free and now can rationalize it because of how much we get in annually.
For what I'm seeing,
yes.
Taking off 4%.
Yes.
And 1%. One shows how 1% will go under NHIS. So a cohort more we can come even if it's 2% under NHIS. It's a way of raising more money so that when you go to the medical facilities,
you get
the premium service that you want.
That's right.
Until you'll be happy.
That's right.
So and then when you say it's getting geared towards a particular thing for your own interest, but not when you raising now who be a secano echo now because your taxes in engineers 15%.
Okay.
Your consumption tax. Government takes that money and spend it anyhow. Oh, it's only when they want to show prudent way of managing that 15%. Until when they put in the right policies. So to send a back and the second one may give you man can. But he told us what they've done with the letter that they've received. That give me confidence. Say tomorrow when I'm paying more, I know say it will go to a place certainly. Then Kwabena say raise now for your cash consumption tax we just spend the money and then share among our folks. It's not right that way.
I'll come back to you. Mr. Samuel Agri, General Secretary, Food and Beverage Association of Ghana. And devoid of politics into your sample experts from different fields. And Mr. Agri, when it comes to beverage system, he's an expert in the field. Head of communications, Aboso Kain, Spare Part Dealers Association of Ghana. Samsuna Mira, David Abuado, and Swaha, Kasamafu Penny, Emma Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana. So, in a bit, meaning before the transport system. Then, of course, Mr. Akansi, also a tax expert. I'm sure, say, Babaka, he may want to have a bite on this VAT rationalization in the ECOSO. But and Friday class for Munyado Facebook, we have a no benya fight. Mr. Remo, Obi who be a one share mame. And yes, a Friday class for no, menemo ebenya problem. Na empenyifo we hide ya church that say pimping politicians babetna omoni omde no beka. But we enkrofo a utim so mu chirichiri mu amaya tiase with no disrespect to politicians. Yanko ragbado meaning say firstly, if your expectations were met and now share in line with the 13.8 billion cedis in his first budget reading, we to him say yadebeboa a Jumera policy, any other policies in the Kahonwa. And we here make a lot of rules or person is that it?
Friends, Mr. Agri,
okay.
Point now, ODC, about a tour etuya hono. Onim, your sector, BB cost or horses here, at the same moment, and pepe. DVLE, air charge, our quine so on items are enye wo ka ho na price a ewo ho dada no was 45 cedis omo raise from 45 cedis omo anye no mo humpo omo maswa omo de call 225 cedis
and there what particular thing?
Your friend say DVLA for call route no ma ko say car we reketi where you sit in tinted glass we ni seat belt I see
new directives
new directives now omo de aba no
okay
no kra nyam yenim embo akra hwe nano kumase fo nka omo ko demonstration bia nka bi nsi da because you can arrest them and they say a kwana aye use na ngasa no aye single lane we ko na we ba enye dual road nti omo do single lane mu a obia gina ako 10 km per hour o dey say kumase kwan so na weekend ama for so omo ko demonstration na omo car no omo dey ko demonstration no na demonstration omo ko nyina ne say esan say your friend say DVLA for abakwan so say o car no a sprinter bus e was say aye 4 seat aye 5 seat ni no omo chewa omo je o seat back bia omo je o 225 cedis enu ntin koda owia waka kire o say wafa SS passenger and also oje o 250 cedis 225 cedis owia no a wabeka kire o say o mirror ana o travigator ba kon o ba no from abona ma na yinti oje o 225 cedis on one car na yenya about 10 charges are utuya baku bia 250 cedis 245 cedis
how important in this
yeah how they say a tour no obeto ye it was 45 cedis why na on any tena se hye and say no this price na eba
so it's too much
or the eco road no so
it's too much
okay what you say it say obi ehu say a tour no eyesei na eyesei no okọ road no okọ kotua onim say a tour no okọ kotua no eyesei nti why hu preparation unexpected obia onka Mr. Nikwe onka say on the transport organization way and the tenase and more rising on that 225 cedis percent no.
I think that Mr. Bado, some of these issues are we can still revisit. Of course, Mr. Nikwe Logas or Unipa scene, we are in the same space. I'm sure we could still revisit the same matter. But the point I'm making is also we make some reference. So buhonwa wa fabroso. Adena fabroso. You see, and you're afraid we be deterrence. We'll come to the other components. We're afraid we be deterrence. So be fat passenger broso na jine 1 cedi or be fabroso. But of fat passenger broso na jine 200 or fa. And don't forget, in line with insurance policy, say bus bia fe nipa na e broso ba ko a enya accident obi enya insurance.
So it's to say that farmer na broso. One thing me point na say the seat in the sprinter bus is 5.
No, quite 6.
5 now no why no. And a wafa. But ono DVLA na abakwan so abeka kire wo say e wo say o car no eye 4 built seat.
That's what him say 4 na my
5. 4 opera
because your bus is a bar.
Yeah, was sprinter you 4 seats.
Experience in this job.
We when the guy say oye nipa until you want to protect him. That is not the truth. The truth of the matter is say sprinter buses me fa wonko echi kakra na so what say
very well
over buses 4 seats in a room no mo fa 4 aban ba ya o hwe say 4 no ye kan ye ho boso no one passengers ni drivers na ye nhihye e ma over buses beka e be ye 3
okay
and na me bi sa o say ni kwe say ye buses na ye use no 5 seats aniti obeyi ba ko afrim one on any tenase
one consult
obia.
Oh, but that is bad.
One consult obia.
And then I make communication.
No. But if one consult more,
Master, the petition command the boss. Yeah, transport minister. But yes, it's still ongoing. As some American one, any British and American. Because any budget we enka budget one, but I didn't know media baha. Because what is going on now? No, say a banner say yeah, a drive for yes, say dear or no yeah. One boy and Kaya all year need to know. Yes, so young coins were there in the Bagana. You see, even 2 hours or say 3 hours demonstration the year 2020. We near the buyer, Ubi Nanti, open phone Nanti Fitema at the Accra.
So sad.
And yet, it's in money be what? Yeah, you empower, they say you empower your crapper as transporters. You empower your crapper. And it's so better. Now we are. Ye bab on timber car say omonyi nkrofo mfiri ekwan so any year ye di ahyen besi ho quickly they did it omo ye nti dey na kire yewra ni go so say on free the transport organization en kan kire ye say you know sprinter now ma build it 4 seat and 5 seat you know we pay comfortability you know yenye ne 4 seat na ye no ye ne sen na yin na yen fa ya adwenbra na yenye no be kokwan mu no akoka say 2 seat back on
I'm so surprised. And Kwame, I did we make an funny serious. Let's get to Nikwe. You see, one of the people at Buama Banwe about power drivers. Okay. I'm not saying say driver ni yet baby bonia look on. But I'm saying say say Natia say a name wide. Charge 45 cities into mean free over 200 cities. And then so make any decision or policy. You consult who we call stakeholders. DVL in any island. DVL in any island. And ultimately nya said it will bring reproach to the president. And to Kwame, this thing take it to an yes, I remember be fire will be any DVL. I'm serious about this. I know Nico is our brother, but idea for Obi to say Buado to speak like this, not to say idea how grounds. I know that guy. And I tell me what for Buado of all people to speak like this, not just idea any hagene. And how do you implement this without consulting the major stakeholders in the game? This is a joke. We should not be entertaining this joke. I'm telling you. So senior, we work on it. And
yes,
we'll get back.
Okay, I'm sure you are so many technical na me buy and I say transport minister one fre my shimu nchire ya adwen. Emma ebe topic of the day ewa hanamo. Emma obi sere ya ma program host kura no smooth. You see your friend saying beverage for secretary eka say be manager here. You see dialogue ends everything. Say Mr. Agri say one obi diga na one ne muka kasakro mu be kwa kudu be bia mu pese mu duro but the oil ho no no o the infanto nchen to say your expectation on budget no to be frank and honest with you yen transport sector ye ni ajepa ye ni anje kura no eye ba ko pe a otimi kan say ye intercity route ni nyina no on be dualize ye intercity route no so be kai ofidie so makanda hwe say accident besi na head on collision a say ye nipa tu kura na bewu a ehu na ebo omo maka wo chiri kura no eku omo enti say ye kwan no intercities ni nyina dual routes na meko na obi be bo meto a meko mani what you say impact na enye great but meko na obi so ba ono so kura 40 km/h miss 60 km ye ka bo my 100 hwe crasher nipa ebewu was 100
calculation idiot.
Oh yeah.
Oh the 140
I want the 40 because you know na ka bo mu I am saying to me calculation I say
calculation with street calculation because onu gra 40 over o dey 60 into 900
minia as I'm looking at make catch no but say you know your intercities no ofri Accra na uko Kumasi a unim say unam 2 lanes so ofri your friend say Accra na uko Aplawa unam 2 lanes so say accident bi be bakra na enye te say de ye wo mu dada no eno ameme pa as speaker ana nipa okasama draafo eho amameni age pa yi ufiri hono mu a omo the practical examples bi ba say ye military fo a yade omo because papa yi ka say me hu say ono so from military background me so me from military background me papa ye major in army.
Oh okay.
Enti sisi ya say ye de ya kwan no bi ba be ma asoja fo ma ma ye no me ni age ho yi pa hwe tema moto wi omo de ma contractor or say bridge abattoir before abattoir bridge no omo de ma contractor or say be take ye 6 months be soja for call ye 2 weeks omo wie
contractor 6 months
yeah
so just say 2 weeks
2 weeks omo wie moto wi no ma ye fa so and inti say ye de ye kwan be ma prudent people like military officers now omo aye biam aye intercity roads ni other roads na maya because the engineering 48 engineering for omo so what are they doing if they are now using them yeah what if they are now using them ebeboa Ghana inti budget we there ye hope aye nya no e bro budget na nka e expect so but bia ye ni ankoje ho pa ye nua tachimu abuso kan for no
o my then
no kura ni nyame anim ni omo pese omoye this government unpopular.
Aboso kind for
no krena me catch o. Say okaya.
I'm happy say the cheese here.
Okaya.
You must respond to
your friend is saying Mr. Kenoforata ebe kind budget.
Okay.
And Oka say VAT on spare parts duty abolish. The next day ye party you abuso kind. Okwa ade a ye ton 50 cedis or more the amount 15 cedis. But say dollar see from 16 abba from abedru 13 egusu ba for me can say 10 na akobi akoka say me exaggerate 13
no lawyer 10
o de me can say
10 baby ben na
onim me va to be there because me va to be there
10.4
yeah 10.4 the entire me person me yen bebre sa no say dollar timate atia ba say na engine sprinter engine amoton maye titisika no 250 million 2,500 no that's a say yeah 25,000 that's a say more they are 40,000 what is 400 million
asia kosoro
me na make catch you
we titi ni pa skia so woni mana
na say me ka because mo na model of pepe ni buy and am mo pepe ni ntia masa no kura ye ba kope ni abuso kan for yes say omo say omo dollar no omo man te ba fom no niam bi keke no omo aye be anye ye kura no wo de hwe aban ba ye was 7 months me na me boa
yes
dollar ye tinya hold the dollar e wo fa ko sa for this 7 months inflation ba fom just said niam bebre e ba fom so what is abuso kan waiting for say on betting niam so am a driver for
Mr. O Minchowa no na min percentage so beba msisia but quick intervention because asema edie inenya esan say ubeka say beverage sector ana omo eton nduane ne sane ma ne nyina woko me say nyina etie ne amaso nyina yigina pempenso ba ko esan say wokra ne ma ne de ba at the time asidi ne drop no wa clear wonema at 16.7 Ghana cedis dollar sa time na fe wodi ade ne bae no prekupe ndra sidi ne so ate esiti onyama ne so eba ne sa where do you go
Masa meti me you no baby meti me you no because who my 3 months 3 months no abroso must say o 7 months
me ka ba usai
Mr. Grehona Kameba no say my 3 months moratorium it's passed so
enti no obi ono Accra bibi ti say engine or the bear 10 engines a big go.
Okay.
Menji this obit me at so. At best, obit me at on the same price for a long time. But say, or no eco funny dear the band at the current rate of the city no. Eho, na fi competition, but by anything I can say, with time, the market itself will flow. Obiabe
we'll be getting ideas.
But almost side no, oh there no, a hardware, a heady, and you never content and 10 times. But if you look at it this way now, yeah, can say enti so no. Me dika ka say hwe enti so no beba, but there is something that government need to do, which you will see the effect the next day or even the next hour,
which is
by reducing the tax rate. When that thing happen immediately, you see these people also coming down.
He gave an example.
Ako also then, okay, say no VAT on spare parts, no VAT. So then you know say even some it is to crap one then I can make the money that I have to make.
Yo moma bosumo miensa na twem but yes still ya da so gina ye ABC mu the entire drivers for agitated when say udaku anu a different ball game altogether me say nkrofo the car every suedru ene your friend say wa kura bia so pussy girl say baby eba me ho e wo station and you say your head office mpo me station baby am ye adwuma minimum nipa kura omo direction to baby am me wo omo bae e be ka say nanu ya na e force omo ma omo te lorry first so say best spare pass da so gina baby agina no nyema omo bobo so ebi na ko ye trigger ya e ko your friend say me dey koka me se ni kwe no omo ti omo okuma say sprinter bus na omo dey ba no na e 5 seat omo 2 seat back home omo the receipt ni na ba ye what you say and nti no who your leader nyama bi mu ba so one sorry a yen election eba ti say the politician almost omo election eba omo ye yi no yen so ye election enche eno so na mko emu eba so I was say me ye medwuma yi because enye hwekura no misua ade e wo bebi a me wo no nti no me mpese me free ha enne me free watch na ye be me free me mpese me free wa enne because I was say misua ne me pese misua no misua kakraka ho ansa na me free wo eno nti budget no kura ni nyame anim ni we are happy with it about the road and other things but baby a yeni anje ho no na megusu ameka no abuso kan for no ana omo amoton spare parts me mbo abuso kan kwa because ye wo kukumpi wo ho ye wo magazine wo ho na ye wo places a ye to niema no adenti na ebi mo de wo be call omo ho me pesa me bo ebi mo din wa ha no mo because they are being fair to us wo call omo ho a omo ma omo timi hwew
no
so
omo a Okom homotom name so bomudin and crofon koto. You see, that is what we should start doing. Because
Bobie to say karatma. Make us
$1 call from first company a tin name so electoral land. Me tina ha catch Ghana for so bia nkoto name no mo nya advert wa. Ba me no kase krama ba ham say so me advert. Me party ya tran man kan Ghana for so bia nkoto ade electoral land anche da ka fam te om de so. E to bibi o wa boso ko no so ate so no waka. It almost will be a coha. No, before, and Mr. Agricano. System like a rationalizing. But I'll come back to you. David Agbado, a PR Roma Concerned Drivers Association, and I'm Motenica. I'm because about toll booth, but maybe in his next appearance, he may want to touch on that one. But Minko, but me, what I said that.
Yes.
What didn't come out? So then,
now I can in fact was so cancer.
I don't know much more denser. I think, Tachi Aden.
Oh, body constitution, Abba.
Mammy, Tachi from Constitution, Mammy, no be anchors on the buy. Constitution, Mammy. Obina. Because the gas at 2016, or the Castle will be another damn quick who for winning elections. That time $90 automatically 2016. Okay. Automatically aboso kan magazine ko compare omo to money amaso. I don't pay dollar ma for mu. So there cannot be any argument say mo 3 months. O kan obeye. Say sana be so mo ti sanwom no. Mami chia wai eja Dr. Agri. Me doctor ba kono no. Na mi chia Agri for the money madu. Me Agbado na mi chia expert in taxation. Pastor Mohaja, Missing idea, Mr. Agri, the Michelle, Debbie, Michelle, Benjamin Yanji, or ye straightforward. On Pekululu, on Panza, Agbado dear, or David Michessa, because Agbado dear, concern diversity, and my yamo, my Ghana. Yes, there be I debating at Damasi because he to me Damasi uncle can read my Yagma, Mugusu Yagma, my Ghana, and Michela Monetary diversity. I say Agbado dear. Na me che menia sam me oka a friend say my friend say GP do you know spokesperson friend say Sammy me kru mu akwa pimi ni me che akwa pimi nyina
onya ka akwa pimi buru ni obe hu ze ono na hey
Achimota St. John's, me bibia.
Watch you.
Me go school.
And then
St. John's.
And fine. I don't know one thing near Maso. And only okay. And Achimota St. John's they discuss.
Now, only say near mana, Umoka say me say another by 2016. No, we need election in 2016, but I'm 2016 or about 2017. It's a minimum year now. Moka Samono.
That's the point I'm making. In fact, when said you didn't see you know.
This is 2017. Oh, okay. Say Abusuka from the teen near Maso. Sana momo de mokano.
Asamoteso.
Okay. Now why check your Abusuka from background? Why check who? Maybe how moto mabafa. Why check it?
And him.
Moside.
Him.
Munim so moto maba do not have an coinfa.
Oh, said do not to men people.
Exactly. No party about power. No mo fele say ye be say den ye tie niam so. And I'm saying what I say. You can't for them. And you're more civic right to do so. So who as a political party so then also wait me aye. Etimi so aso betimi marketing nim onkrofo no mu no onya tumi ade na oye bo omo utimi ka jeso mko jiska oye eya na exit bank na utimi ka bisa you nka maslock utimi ka onye bi nti omo so munya tumi na they make sure say mo nkrofo no e be covenant by kra ye chiske kra omo se won ka asem fa aba papa aba no ho a you do net of say ma obi document say ma obi me 20 e come dimiti fi no COVID-19 no ba no 2020 no ye kwa yama me bi ye say me criticize about too much me chairman Kwabena Saturday use national consensus papers no ono kwa yama ni bi because na pay no over that time no ye ko ni Kwabena say ko ni me kwa pi ni e bi sin chan yama me bi eti no nya to me na then say oh yeah you build your own people, you resource some of the people. I would think say so onye this onye PPR or you rational person now if you say this person very genuine resource them
or end this in the crowd you know onye Ghana me say come on crowd
yeah say who building now
obi Ghana ni
itu building now what all na I say aboso ka for sensitive me so niam atete so te no as you speak today next week me no be one on one me the items are yatete so nyina ba be kire wende aboso compare force munji na mo kan wasem nyina today price number from I'm not say na next week mbeba na ma kire mo say mo koto no sa store waste to
I would mo kire sa store
so that's beka ya time na ifi Nigeria buy me ni mo no aye beka say ye beti ni masunti no ena ma musuja musu ni ye ba kwa mo koto no fresh ya baby wa say disappoint mo agree with you guys no me catch mo say o person auto engineer na bi a association mo direct mo akọ nipa should see association be kire se koto wa ha ya tete so obu ha fita for na omo yesa bu ho no okutana dwe foforo obi won so a fita ni ade ode amane 10 cedis so no ka check on so e 15 cedis so that say only another factor inside the hardware agwadom omba bosuka de bi omba menchen the man ongoto the boarding I agree with them and but David let me be honest with you me say next week me compile ni nyina muniama na mo ka no omo matetu nyina no me che bia mo kwa mo nkoto because we say me akwa me say ni vector ton 23,000 and not on 18 ene me ton inji MOBC ene me no ba ya cam money 4 plugs no what am I say 6,000
but that's not the bonus
what I say because abafom of course
okay
abafom it will ban ma catch say ko Frank ho
so it means that
your friend Frank
from some now can there are specific shops are buying no cars yenti ne maso no because dollar abafom o ma ye ho adwuma o ma te so
o ma ye ho adwuma no nim aboso ka adwuma ne no sometimes no o mo hwe leader no how oni o mo te o customer they listen to you o beka so eye wuntra o because o kan bi eboaye o bo beka so ye nyamesuru nti o say die ma ye koso nyina no be mo ha na your expectation is say na at least 70 to 80% better to maso na your expectation no but we says we are there some of them will try to be a little more recalcitrant we are there no matter what you say what you do they will not because political I play major role egma edu obusu kan no and the way nyina ba no because someone my first say I didn't say me team ni aso no by discover no dey mami why me den so that say kasa ni bi wo ho a e ko te say na GR for ya nansin a me fro catch you say omo abusu kan gi omusika you need problem but say what ba uni sika 2021 when timi a chesi omo gi omusika abai ba ye pe udi emika gidigidi okono oni sika pienier to store nim na Jerry obi oye adwuma Jerry ebi na ka say mo na mo para makoto aba no aba mo koto no so fa so no mo say yi si amoteji omusika mo no na so obi oye adwuma insight traders leti aba no enye say quickly na situation be mu a me be statement fa ho a asa sebi usan kwasa sam esutwa ya na ka omudi insight adwadifo ti aba no wo no bia from say this phone to your stores mu mi ho ano yesi kona kwa giska na ya ka so ne mkokon na police ni kutatuo e boni say asa pempen so okwo ne nya kan na ya ikas intimidation ya say it is aboso kan so we aban na ofo say aboso kan for no ube downplay with them ube nya problem fi aboso kan so say team o market organ nyina obi abe sorry because o hono no e meme adwuma ye dwane ye no e hardware adwuma o na de adwuma ye more than 45 to 50,000 members e meme kwa e meme ye close to 40,000 e mane makoma ko bi enti se mu nta e beka se hey wo so afi do bia ye den e som eteno se o pesa aboso kan shuna o kan se yima entity so da e bia tete so ese se aboso kan so ntino hifa da ya okọ store be na akoto wade no e na party na ye ka say import duty no mame call back 2017 ken kuntunkunku oforiata budget statement say this goes to my friends at aboso kan import duty on spare parts abolished, that's the word. Or say import duty on spare parts abolished. Sad commenting a wo national consensus papers are ye many Kwabena de Bible say oboa enye no kre. Ye challenge obi say obi an ka che se tam ko nyama no obi antu ana papa se adwuma no me hu how adwuma ne tie edwadefo today obi ko container otimi tua 40 Kwabena me kan no no yi otua container 40 vita na se no otua 75,000 and 60 something thousand e be tua because what is because
so that is the point I'm making. So bit na bo so
dollar nitino
no ka se sebi a buying for scam machine go to am surprise. Look, all the $100,000 and a neck of an at 17 cities. 1.7 million cities na besesa. And the same $100,000 over some 1 million cities. When you're for 700,000. So what point like I guess I'm buying this car. I'm not getting the point.
To also make better make you say. VT engine. Dollar na 16 cities.
Yes.
What they buy no also turn no 16,000. No one $1,000. And then dollar be do 10 cities. The same engine na o turn 10,000 na o be $1,000. Tini o stock asem na me dey ba no. Also pay $1,000 for. O be turn 10,000 na Ghana cedis instead of 16,000 you still get $10,000. But nemo esa so per say o balance bit no men turn 10,000 turn 14,000 just to see 2,000. O turn you get $1,000 and get extra profit.
To be brave now greed.
O stock for no.
Greed
what I say because we catch yourself. Oh and then nyama no be say me ton wie hardware da be na betima to ni na wie ma say what to nyama so
3 months kana beto be for
misagi no o chirima obi ati ase say e dade hodman ye and yes o person o chire say you timi to so o person dade hodman ye
en court say e entu so
sana me he na dade hodman e be na 2 years ko unto sade ni wie entu be say o to ni wie so to nyama so and the association can say yan kase mo price mo tese hwiu mo agese kakama temamifo no de o mo hia wo mo na o mu se aban no emfa so papa na ye edwerefo ye nya o mo so no temamifo no so nya bisa national cake ni bia ni o aban the policy aba na dollar ba fom na so so ato niam so na temam ni koto a o so be de no me ha no sa ba timi first come botom but niam na so ate no okota scanner ko be ton bia be 10,000 no me ton be 8,000 na wanya 2,000 ko tokom also when you be hono no so what I say and the card duty say from last week Saturday madam fu buy and obo to dwe also oh techi we dey that's you me card duty me can make am see 85,000 me ni say 54 say 56,000 was me nyes ketu to kom so that say sana nkesa nke kono but market no meka sase mu me see omumpo meka na be answer me question no unya tumi a men fa wani nche bebi faako hwe se market no ese we start to say we just mama loans no accessible to people so that say mama people endi dwa no you see ano okọ market na okọ ji loan kura wo nya bi eso aban bi ba no wa man nkofo bi anya lo di yom adwuma it is akrofo no wo expect say on party ni ba power on be dem cha choma na ana Mr. Agri they will not do it you don't blame them. Men blame obia but oh yeah dem support on party gitumsa ginetumsa NDC edwedefo no 80% each then NDC for the side that's a fact.
Oh busuka
enya busuka Ghana here in Ghana
so I can find those
of course I can find it 80% enu omo side etu ohwe genuine no omo who say these people no they are our side na say genuine no ompe masem. And they say oba no want me anya o de kakra so kwa wuti mo mo ban na bi wono ba power no mgusu jimo de kakra so e de esanfa omo jifa o omo jifa
menya call be enra from here mentioning Robi the Kuku Chan ho baby and interestingly say men kasim adan say Minister Fabric honorable Kuku chef fertilizers be fertilizers ni Kuku drew hono mo according to them omo wa dem bo omo a support party ni di party na chen please mo de mo nye politics intimo for ncheme me ye me politics omo a edi party na chi no ebo ama party ne ba power no omo che fertilizers no omo a atuti aban no atuti amahama no ana omo yeah so they call me say ana omo aba 8 years no mo enja fertilizer omo krampom say Tom right ye Tom
anata me for time oh ye Tom
na say we mo aba no mo che fertilizers na omo mo nkrofo ne de timika je say o your head no che fertilizer no omo pay ni di ne number mame I'll make sure say they will also get some me can
and they we only have some to bisa no
point oh no so if they get the name from I'll even get to the minister.
Oh, it's no asem na da hono no. Eya na adwadifo no mpanifo no bibiri ho a omutimi nka.
Yes.
On back to say ne dey make say owura mahama opposition no oba bosuka na so koshia guta for whoever. O mama policy da ho a obi ase mama policy ye. Owura mahama me on policy obi ase oye obi ase obi policy ye. We adwadi ni panyin obi policy ye there. That means say be omunye serious. We need to differentiate between a policy that will support your businesses and a product that will not. So what say Mr. We can be no can say or can be South Africa be room for so also Obama dey free na Obama free dey say nya dey be a dey papa sa but oh yeah dey man say na me ma Ghana for so what I say that means what me differentiate ade a e be bo on the sector e be bo team for no na obi atimi nka nti amanyofo no omo so omo ye no pe na ya fair round table dey be yenko share minister yenko share Bank of Ghana governor yenko share ye minister ni from 1957 up amanyofo chew akọ meeting na economy be agina na eden afi asane yankopon ama owura Mahama the second coming way obi friend say ababiu owura na posi friend ababiu wasa akọ ababi ma na yehu say economy ni peke 2017 dollar na say e shoot kosoro but owura Mahama time dey na ba from rather meaning say economy ni peke enti peke no e se nyina na say embrace say what I say economy ni peke na say montiti muniama so na asa gise be po bi cho gise be si anti agbado enye se enye adwuma no ye the association ye afemu de but you know menu nyan situation wa boso kan you know say menu nyan maboso kan issues.
Okay, so I have a suggestion for you,
say.
Mr. PR for boso kan.
Me I'm not a PR, I'm director of communication. My grade from PR.
They me too post.
They not impose so musu no. I know you
Mr. Director for communications boso kan. This is what I want you to do for me.
Yes.
Get me a list of omo wa boso kan.
I will do so next week.
Na yen country Ghana for say. Jo Mahama boa me $10 so na inflation aba from. Sa stores we mon kota de o. It will force the other stores.
If you compare them to do so.
Yes. And I think we should start doing that.
We have an issue with this Nigerian. We have a lot of issues with them. Then I'm for compensing Nigeria for for of course. We never be for the time. So that's it. Also come on trade for now. Omo mu nua kwa mu ye for kwa Igbo for kwa omo ma ho.
Yo mu ye Igbo for.
Omo Igbo for omo trade for no. Igbo for kwa.
Okay.
Che. Enya ise wo ho. Nigeria for niama better one container. Obutu container be about 20. The more you more containers no. Now you more discount. Gana ne be ba ko. Oh. No bidu ha say na for the achira say yes. Container ba ko ye be hwe ha obi container no.
That's all your time for.
Your time for. Na la tani wa ye bet to ko nya more discount.
Any man be for.
Utimi ye bet any man 10 ko na ko 21st kan bra.
Ska you so be ka ya.
So I say or the kwa na wasa dia bra Ghana.
Ade kura ska mo jiji bebiri kura na nyani nya na ko consolidated fund.
Anything na sa ade na ka ye expect say 52.5 billion na eyira from Ghana Commercial Bank.
Ye hu be.
Ye hu be scan ko no. On na ka be say mi tie. E gadi fosika wo. To
finance minister Amono.
And not account no all the regions na say bank account.
The first man na me
so what I say it in America say aboso kan wo be so beto engineer wo dey bra association wo omo tete so no ebebu abo so because you see an obi am for system na kasa be compare set oni ama so hwe dollar it may stable seed net me then I appreciate it for 5 solid months o say ba na be say artificial 5 solid months by year still no nima bogusu yedin and then consumer price inflation from 23.8% last year and about 30.7% oh by year still no ko market ko hwe eso bia ne bo Mr. Adri eso bia ne bo bisa say den e koso ejina de na wo kanu enye spare parts nko asem o
okay
so that say it is a more present more hitting with the most spare parts industry now would you can force you people of course into more there monko ye dey
men come tax experts when of course me da say maybe ODV and maybe some question for official consumer price inflation December 2024 na ejina 23.8% as of June 2025 13.7%, which is about minus 10.1 percentage point change. Now, over producer inflation 26.1%, and as of June 5.9%, minus 20.2 percent point change. In that order, it doesn't mean to me and can be great. Now, over real sector performance, also GDP growth akwenanim ohanchichemu enum actually pomiesa 5.3% from 4.9%, which is the highest growth since 2020, so 5 years ago. Now non-oil GDP ending by 6.8% compared to 4.3% in 2024, marking the fastest pace since 2018. Agric ending by 6.6% growth, and just a triple cry. Services ending by 5.9%, industry by 3.4% growth. And coupled with this, Adia A B and Nanki betting Ansah kakra because of promises or year in opposition. Say e-levy where ye free, emissions tax where ye free, betting tax where ye free, or say following rationalization in September, or rationalizing VAT in via COVID tax will be ye free. Would you say this is a government that is on the right track? And now say a good will be no joy for a short while. As the same bit me about. And again, why near money free honum? And so, and it may be a free to say free university for level 100. Say be ye no disabled for more school free. Yeah, just and 3 part free. How are they going to get money? To support the system?
Medase pana kwanya we em say ade ba ko sa ube woni say we nipa o say we ku ana we oman usika sem no ye no bako what you are getting reverend there about ubutum how you spend it. So what share aban we are they cut down expenditure wa chuchu say independence they can say me no ye ko dina wi so ana ye machi we are near back here the previous year ne can about 18 million what I say Ghana cedis, but the omoye kakre bi kukuruwa no first hours in Nimono now just say you save close to about 17 million.
So we use 1.5
exactly to we share variations now sania man ultra ohunka say we ni pay say me share say na nye say Ghana kwa but nipa kra pono me no yeti hey waketu 1000 Ghana waje
okay
waje 1000 go bottom na odi fried rice na waketu ya no say 1000 na waje 1005 po and so fried rice no ne ama na wo kan de kana akosoro a ukodi fried rice na unya enye den ebi ntu bottom be
garibi
entende unya garibi na we club didi once with me geji in o baby no abone be say 11 12
no kwasho koncho
baby and your friend of poverty and hardship induced
so
economic planning bon say
you be say be do be na kwasho kwache Ghana
well poverty can make gentlemen obo on didi anopantumo te wo no so no wa edin
gentle
we say no smile kakra obo akomo so obu no o try gentle te o onye gidi nkra na ekoma ko bem nti sa o hwe o nso yie a we ye Ghana nkwan yi de we ye say wo nka de ebi wo ho nti debt talk say wo be hwe a o say o mo nka expenditure o twa so eka de eka ne ba na debt besia de enye say enya de boni o nti de bia eka Ghana obi ase o ye won busia ndos do de be enya de boni ukobo besia na ne a de ba be ye no ene asem no se kan oba ye na se wakobo besia na nika ene si mabusuem na mode nya meburu a mo san ko tofoforo abesi obiom na nika na be mienu esan se dwane kosoro a ende kan ko bo besia kan na obeto nika ni 5 na ye edwuma mawa ende na wo koso na yeso wakoji besia na ba no na nika dan no obeso de condition be bom. Oh, sometimes our problem is a thinking problem.
Cost mesian cost.
Nti Ghana no your problem. I can't just say yenye hia man and the for me person meti say obi can be as
Ghana for na hia for.
No. He's not the first person who said it. Kwame Nkrumah quoted years ago that Africa, not even Ghana. Africa is not a poor continent. Yes. We see here.
He said that
I told you, and I'm repeating, write it down. We have a thinking problem. You are doing and we have a thinking problem. I any problem. No. Say, oh good, shall assassin. Now obi ebe 2 years. Now also open 3%. Now who any bit you say. O de a cadro dory the obe 2 ade na. And then mu ni na more problem. Mu yan pa bo.
I mean we are pepe. Say mo di kan Canada. Nigeria 2 oil before you.
Yanko ye ni
the percentage omoji.
Yanko ye ni ma ye madwa ye di dwa ye ko ye ni mi. Se o hwe de ye ka sesi a na. Se obeje o man we say ye problem ne den ameka cho say thinking problem. Ye nye hia man. So also list here me the paper we man wen koso. wowɔ salt, wowɔ gold, wowɔ bauxite, wowɔ diamond, wowɔ limestone, wowɔ lithium, wosan so wɔ ɛde yɛ bɔ nkɔmmɔ ya na ɔmo bɔ baako bi na media minti da cowling ɛde yɛ toilet seat ni ama sink ni ama no ɔfa dɛn bi ona nyame fa ma o na maka kyerɛ ɔm dada sɛ ka me ne nyame adanfoɔ paa nka ɔnkyere yɛ kɔm bɛsɛ 10 years
ni adwene nyɛ dwuma
Debbie, it's self-induced.
I understand.
Tell me, nsuo asase. Israel for asase omo no. Komunya asase we are can agree come top the whole world.
Yeah, it's true.
They offer the class asase o akazi abro yeso nti tu asase enye. Ye no asase na abro yeso. Nti hu asase bia eno enye. De bia we are good at complaining. Osha economy na yesi yebu o economy ni sesi ana sa ye ho ka no a ye twa ye to no a ye gege no ye gito ene disika no begu ha o disika no ye den o de ye den na wo se wakoje o de 11 million akotua for Palugu dam sa sika na wan ye hu bibi afa 11 million eko o de $2 million e de ko sky train ye hu ndade no kapo na hu train nam ewie ni mu no eno so $2 million eko Cathedral na na adwin say $58 million no se si a keka ko ebu nkota ye hwe no e kodu $90 million e na dade crane na sisi asase no so wo na ene anya adwuma bia no eno so e boabo aka no e maye nti che se adwene no adwin bone na aba e krum ha no e na embo aye em se mi nya be ma o kasa se to no revenue ensem we hu no ya mi se nhihye bia akopiem wo DVL ho no I think say we should look at the road system no in the sense say existing law be na some review and a consultation they be as a development communicator no is one of the things I look at very well so say they say say nkita undie bibia obe bia say mu nyanom no so mo importers and exporters almost so any plan B ekasa na ye bisa me question be say I won't give it mo say na assumption mo amaso say before they say bankrupt e be kan nkrata nka no maka say bibi ko piem a de eto bi abeto mo so mo nje ade nti anya oni omu nya nkita wundie bi nti san nkita wundie de hia pa si amekan we ka say na maka da say nyame na obo wi ase ne crap no crap wo be ya de crap no ne nipa da se ni esusu na wo ye hwan ahombra se mi bisa se wo kra wo ye hwan na me na nkasa kra ni nipa di nkita wundie ansna wa ye ni amane bi mu nti communication ye fe bi tax communication eto no aye jeje no ehun komodie enti eso ni di nkomo se o sa de we yem se awo kan ne se emra na se o mudi hun komo na odi ahye homa so na se penalties bi a se kan omo eko no mu mpeyifo no krapo na omo ne o krapo na eko
a free BB
can it fairly say
top down approach
exactly
so you involve them then you commit the leaders to say let's charge this then you say it's too low. Oh, it's too high. Okay, then we agree at this Then, because the leaders are involved, there will be your defense when it comes out.
Price na komu kotunu was less than the able kotuma.
So can you imagine?
And say I make one say onukra aka say ka omu din kita odie bi na omu ne omu ka ho from the planning stage kata mo de kwa bonchi mo ka so na ye ne nkrofo ya ka say 10 cedis o kwa ko wa for 7 cedis what you say entika nkita odie bia be bia film na bi so e him na ka mo ko field so no crap no ka papa we no a share reflector no so gina hobby because onimo abedi nkita as a group
GPRT
and GPRT for omo pay for at least the first few days no to introduce the policy no e so mo ko field any DVL officials no it's not late there's a rule for engagement.
Did they launch the policy? And
so
it was never launched.
I'm sure say obo quote the chesa onimino and I think the board chair
we'll get to him.
And the board chair of the DVLA Spencer Quay I think they should you should sit with them discussions. I think the discussions should go forward. And then the issue about we say no spare parts dealers no. I think there's one thing say my brother can no the old stocking. I said it even before when people first month now me call ye dink town me catch them say obi mu old stocks and sha na wo ho a ebe chire so say omo beton no at the current price because maybe they are imported earlier on. That even said no who when him I think say omo ye target pricing say they wo kasa wo be ye obi wo ho a greed into any brain into no or the obako tell political argument nature Eddie Ayanadi. This is how be making Ansah or who say politics no you say ya chiche yemu into no ko share enu chiri Eddie Ajiska pudu bi a no adwen so person nunya si a wo de be no ene say woni omu hia ni mpefo hia na munya din kita won wi a na mo de san hihye na wo kan ye no eye say aban aso e no you have the trade ministry you have the other institutions are omu promoting trade so omu so ko asase I mean they should go on the field omu ko from no money nkofo no ka say wait on ade ni say e na wait to turn ni say e na obetimi krapo ahye sa omu ton no bo na adwo no krapo obe trade fairs amomo say industrial park obetimi di omu numbers ene nyina wa be for no so intend there o the for Facebook no be TikTok no the chere say o why Facebook o person to gearbox the at yate super Toyota product we no turn na say o kan say we bi man ko foi eno na
electroland
obi adwuma o the o kan wa say say we ma electroland no o ko aban so ani bi mu obi adwuma
they are not doing it.
There are people who are responsible to promote trade.
To me, who am advert one? I'm oh wow. Because I started.
And this time I no better on the back no. Na Nigeria na ni na ton numa na edu. And yeah na edi ehun dem. Yeah na edi ehun dem. And this see our cancer no. That's the trade box na work no. E ade bi a mesre say o shem kina na oni omo di nkomo a. Mu beti me san kofo na omo aye omo adwen say trade promotion is allowed. And there's something called pricing war. Me told me there 10 cedis. Over so told there, we have I'm on a crap war. Almost on idea. They be show more pricing. Almost be 0.99 call. All my name try and call 1,000. Oba just said 999. 1,000 now not on the
most no so
Ansah.
Psychologically no e man ye
or they are both him or they are both him or to me to 9.6 something 799 or be the wall sa no me na Nigeria for no so etiso enti aban na e ka se obema sa nyuma nyina ko so be akwan na maye na
nyama na me o last
one maye fa ni ndi echire se sa nyama we aye ya maye no e den na yeso ye be ye na masa aban obetima ye incentives ama obetima tie to no so ama and so we are adwen say o de bi koka ho na o de mia ye ndia and I think there should be somebody at a desk na ejuma a no so no embe di nkota ho sesi a na monye sa sound box enti maka kire the boards we've had discussions with your name o ma invite CSO any o me di nkota ho ya ka kire o say look it's about the unions, it's about the media, it's about the CSO community. So obehwe eto no se mako ya your basic and important stakeholders omo muti ato no enti yem say and abranka Accra chire ni ama odi sika ni nyina ye no ye ni age ho se yeso ye ni be di chire ahwe se omo ka se omo ye se school die ye hu se omo ni die hu hwi se ma je omo die ye nkwohwe se we say free pass ye ke ahe ene ye be mom media maka se locally manufactured no ye bi ni ma support na dodo na figure na and also emboa yen sa but baby many ebehwe pa corruption issues no ora na ye kan ye no ye de ni die chiri say if you can recoup me ya na jail ni de ma hodi ni ho sa say me sa china ko she prison na ma sa ko man mo adi e ho de mo ame into de kan o chalo te crowd ke min gini chalo te ni bicycle ene ne chance odi no adwane ofie no ene ni fie dan no no ma ton nyina odi o ma misika no min so scale.
We have non-custodial sentence in our laws.
We have one thing negotiating attorney general
right you need visa
but attorney general discussion be you can decide to pay plea bargain and I may say no unse me maka say jail ho side no ya na
but plea bargain I disagree kakra because my for look at the amount so whooping up NSS I mean 548 million cedis senior made media to treasure bill just 6 months sike betimi a woman and consider say if I did it over 4 years say banaka chem say my VSS kana maka say my plea bargain Masiako use kind free bank number man for so no media. Do you know how much I would have made? So this plea bargain it should be in such a way say. It should be in such a way say. Also be tria, Mate. 10 years na nkede mema but because of plea bargain ko 1 year so that at least
attorney general
and also the 1 year be have account I can mean who say amanonia the deterrent one and say o jump tax eto no
tax evasion
o evade tax 1,000 Ghana ye jo 10,000
yes tamunye
and they asotwe no enti baby ameme sign e o de no ne say second offer 500 da o de ba na ma je dan na safa so dan no e ho na sotwe no wo no na ye de no sa ye de no sesi no we are motivating offenders onim say obi crap onim say sesi de ye ne che say obi offer 1,000 na say ye do ana or the 70 bar ni e kan wasem ana or the 1,000 ne brand sesi just say e kwan bi so no tie kasa ne bi mu a just say why are there so dey aba debi second ye 1,000 ni no ni chale wote ene ne bicycle mi da me woni ama wo beti ase treasury bond ni investment ni fie kwa ye boru aho a chance odi nu aduane kra no ye de sa to so ni fie sa abroche on sa no mo ye no so it becomes a deterrent na me catch 2018 gold and Africa na akọ UAE no na book mu ye homa mu no na 2 billion and so ye call UAE no na gold Africa na akọ na 7 billion
5 billion
no mu nim say ho no wo ye na ye draw say ken we was 1,000 and now we 100 we see 1,000 e ko e ho na asutwe no
menim so be fa time ne preko na nka me
check me fa na preko because
na me check 3 ba mema 2
okay fine me fa na sa be da say me fa na sa enti me hwe say ani ama me kan say be boa ye no say obetwa wo hu ka your expenditure and na me hu say do na ya ebisa reduction of number of ministers in ama aban we aye ni nyina no e hu hia independence celebration America che and more should go on maybe to say ghost names I can say so ohwe na efemu a wo the validation officer no ye de be ma no wetua so otina ho ma obi etimi boy kro no sa no e no so hia ye wi aye mbra debt me ka che say bosia na ginenye na me problem o wo kohwe e car America de and Japan de obetima say what you come and use the borrowed money for if okoji yi na ka ode ba na ode go nkonketin and rice production na importation of rice call from and yetimi importers and exporters food and beverage for you omo export bi ko Togo and Burkina Faso akebe boa you go to corruption you handle it if you cut your expenditure you borrow and then you invest into areas where it is profitable and so be boa na enko twa na chi kra no ni ama o maka so mbe bia no pese ame and no media yen any union for ina no roads e kan say e be na say omo edi omani edi ekire
so be ya
e say e be ya mo a me ne wo say ya kan say ya che ni ama bi say ye be ma get fund ya on cap no ya on cap NHI say 20% e ko ye mama cares ye di eni ba ko hwe report ne ba ye di eni di ekire a ye hwe a okay obi abo ekro no ene ya do ana all the judge de hu or the public account committee ni akodu ho ahe mi maka che o say me nye je ne hia mi o recouping my money obo me ko ne 1,000 me pese me je 1,000 and 1,200 dey feel ho no china se kwa mete a ohun se tete ko wi 1,000 no ye je ni 2,000 cedis into on fan.
That is a good advice. President Muka said was the finance minister, of course say budget is on behalf of president. Eka said at least 80% of the district assembly common fund should go. Matisi release it first a year or so.
Yeah,
so we should find out whether say 80% in the choir. And I agree with you. Say that is how we build the country. But I call Mr. Agri. No, but 80% in the choir. Because because first but you see at least 80% should go. It's 80% in the choir.
Say assemblyman for
the secondary. Send the MC operation.
Yeah, the assemblyman say business wa 10 cedi na. Ya man 10 cedis.
1,003.
Ya man 1,003 na. Ya man 1,003 na omo ya he. Well, sir, and you know, your media force will be our district and our collective effort will show how much that can die and Paul Goodam numbers no $11 million. Run the go continue that bank. You run and now continue 3 days time. I say,
play
bag, then say me watch you crap on the
Mr. Agri 3 minutes.
Yo, that's it. Sure. The other issues our budget in mom say a bit nyapa say a bit to me actually sign man transportation and na edi akwan eyo eba na minister na di kan aka say mo be 5,000 kilometers of roads. So 5,000 kilometers of roads no yenim sɛ ebetumi aba ne sɛ ombeye within omo period no anase ebeko time omo be free office nti na say itumi eto aso saa but yenhwe roads no ade 7S right yeah no na yehwe ye railway systems no aban very capital intensive ekoba ne saa na be raise taxes agisa Canada roads nti yenhwe say the bema private sector na we should let them e betumi akọ Japan there one no more the robust railway system ewo Japan okay yen there no yentumi yenti ejamam wonya na monye no BOT more pretty for maybe 10 years or 20 years na mo hand over MIA so time na enkrofo no so etumi I manage system no the way it's supposed to be etumi aye because roads nenkwa no maintenance a big problem. It's say uhwe trailers a efritema besinko Burkina ni na ye kwan ya no yusu pasanka railway system ni ejuma from Temani dey see railway no so anombeko another port around that no more flow do ho then straight to Tamale and straight to Burkina road na nti ese ehwe say sa network system no ebe ye adwuma na fe yenhwe ye friend saying 24-hour economy banka say dey be in fact me pese me hu say aba na etwem it should be part of our very coexistence na yentumi ambassador no engina yemfa political issue expand their businesses no near say how is trade also going together with the kind of production I be no ntia no near develop ye agri sector no and no say etumi ba first na fe no investors no etumi who say there are products available for processing so where do we invest then the investment will go closer to the farms no more to me aye for export ye kroma na kasa no ye number no because of population wise no into me enye na maybe but say ye ne saa na ebeboa na bebre na no for export na it me aye saa de no but presenting the 24-hour economy you can be say nkrofo ombe to me aye production in certain hours will get certain incentives but I beg to differ. This thing has to be done around the clock. That is why we say 24-hour system. It shouldn't be say, if I'm coming to set up my business or I'm within your friends production area, na me kwa production na me share hours na yede amame na make me electricity at a discounted rate. Na me there in production so that my things will become cheaper. Then I better wait from morning and then operate in the evening. Because my production during the day no ebe be at 20%. Adesa because of that hour na me say juma no menya sa friends incentives no I'll go and produce within that hour so that I can get a cheaper cost of electricity to produce my things. Into no you say once you are within the production sector, manufacturing area no yenya sa incentives no. That is why we have called on government over the years said in this country, what we need for us to have a level playing field with the importers, the cost of production. If we're able to tackle that, the corporate taxes also come on board in a certain way, reduce that. We can benchmark all these things together. Senebeya, ready for manufacturers, or mumbe hinyao. Ebani sape, sa 24-hour system, ayakano. It will go in tandem with the development of the country. A bit down forever. We need to look at that.
Thank you. Mr. Mensume Bompire said one policy of the former government we adopted by na yemfenka 24-hour economy, one district, one factory. About that and the diagro. But every district you see physical factory anya create me employ nipa be 15 poor. I think so minimum how they can get it in the entrenched parts of
say maybe in future we need to look at the agri sector.
We need to have a national agenda policy.
We need to have a serious discussion on this area. If when we are ready, I'll come.
Very well.
You need just you know. They said okay. Unim slogan and obi mo de ye. But me who say we more practical people. Into one district, one factory.
A serious thing.
A serious thing. The practical because omo practical. Omo sloganians.
Yeah.
Omo practical people into omo because asema okay. Guy bi wo ye krum. What decided say own two coin free krum. A krum one obey aye business. Ono kwa I employ 70% of young indigenous people in our village.
So can you imagine if Obia employ 70%? A dozen crowd, they employ 50 across all communities. Localities.
And inti ena enko yese eye slogan because first okoto menye advert mo bi obe misrewa ma min yusu okoto bela kwa na ye 1 cedi be emro mo de koye your friend say 1 district 1 factory and I call 4 cedis. I'm pressing na make a show.
My drink. Okay, so beverage no cre.
So because yeah target no. And kasata no instead no.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Oba no the use or the year was ukokoto calipo na 50 pesos. Also share we say to me ton 10 pesos no. Yeah ton 50. Ne boy din. No me ba me hwe say sanema we na ne boy be form ma manufacturing will be the hallmark of the day.
Yeah.
And until na 1 day 1 F no. E ba no. But unfortunately 1 day 1 F. Oh, the secret behind that 1 day 1 F. Existing companies were made to change their names.
Existing companies were made
Some
to change
of them
okay.
were made to change their name into 1D, 1F so that they can access certain amount of money. They give you $100,000. They take 30% of it for free. And then you pay the 100%. And I make a channel. Ask them. And until 1D, 1F.
They gave them $100,000.
So 100,000 a year.
Now I'm 30% free. Now I say I'm 300 no.
Into I didn't know factories now is in a camera.
That's
You go around and ask.
Mr. Bado?
Yeah, men koso. Niti
your friend now koso.
Road tools.
Yeah.
Minister of Road Efraye.
Okay.
No kasa cry ni ho o man deputy ene ne yetena ye. Ye insise ye di nkomo ekwakyiri ema motorcycle kra ebetua your friend saying motorcycle etua 1 cedi.
Motorcycle.
Yeah, moto okada etua 1 cedi.
Is it not too much?
Unim aye mufidie so na omo ama me kwan so say me kwa me nka ne say be ne me ko ya ye kosua ye ko hu ye no ebeboa
ana driver ana monso mutu
cars no car to say private cars etua 5 cedis and a trotro from 15 up to 70 etua 10 cedis.
It doesn't know.
Minua wona hu ni say dogs
ya ba try na akasa asem
wona hu ni say dogs
because private car na me salary is saying na say baby am hu so dey to so dey ba besi ho na me call be imagine 5 cedis
the woman ni anything I say san komo no
e be di san komo no e bia say mo ka se me ntwa 2 a me mre
the woman no
ba 5 Ghana dey
ye yakodi nkomo ama ye hu say
yes you be di nkomo
trotro meeting am for some fast charges no embeto passenger for so because
more the better so
panto so the entire panto so no say they say they okay yen trotro for the operating road no me farm station here example because me station highway La Paz to Tema La Paz to Afenya La Paz to you offer La Paz na okwa Afenya our current state no mpo no otua 2 toes and sana we draw
into them between 5 cedis
mienu
how
what you say me found yendi nkomo yin enkom say trotro no we be capture say no enye say ukotua auto boot ye capture ewo intersection no so ye free La Paz na ye Tema de yesu anade omo ka kire ye no let us say from La Paz to Tema ye betua 2 toes bako ye Achimota interchange no ye nya faso pe camera no be capture ye ye do motorway no so e be capture ye ko na ye ba e be capture ye but in all no once a commercial car because you see no who can register a car what they your friend saying Ghana card and ICOS card way and all the register until it will come to you once what faso you commercial car no you are paying 1 in 1 out for the whole day
I think that you been a very good time now. Yeah, but since Enyama out, no. You been a very good time. You can't come here. 10 seconds.
Oh, maybe I can't say.
If you're right.
Maybe if you're can't say. Ura Sami Jefi. Ye fast ayi abaswede kesemano. Ono ye major pillar in my economy agina because of good boy.
Sami Jefi.
Yes, Ura Sami Jefi. Major pillar as a young boy when you're 40 years here and with me hold the Ghana's economy.
Boy, you're a man.
There be men can say send me Sami Jefi.
About a young man.
Don't worry. Or not I say I with me hold the economy no. I do by this time good board na nyankopon chire owura mahama so unya sa adwen no wo de Sami Jefi koto ho ye bo pa mo de bi ase unya sa ho de no we bi ase
nyankopon chire no and I mo so two boys no Sami Jefi so two boys mo so two boys then this is for mukra positions mo bebre mutiri mo den too much na say grese mo nkwa yase ahia na ebeje mo nkwa yase mo nkwa adore enye obi de benya appointment na free joma ho obi so beti benya kakra e de nkra bi
one man can massive be one man
awesome next week
there be seconds
but be about advert
seconds one man can
okay
hwe
oh my
ade ba ko owura chief of staff or ya adwen ko hoye
Chief Julius Debra
yes why say chief why na be say or the youth no ni how to no so sisia you see baby wo ko bia o ka ba youth so what to do kan shida it youth no o mbeso mu business
not to do kan shi
o ma me wo kan shi what to kan shi before or you businessman and yes or a politician or you businessman it you see o see from the first time who say chief of staff what see from or the youth no aka ni ha ho I see a lot of
very humble man.
It is mommy papa no no beso boy you to memu ha
very well
it here than as a power chief of the Debra
maybe a chief of staff will be yeah then paying for some mobile but I think that one on one producer be a beverage near room transport near room spare parts near room so that we get enough time we didn't know to that Ghana my customer for the party me that say and so we and the thanks for joining but or try pa your citizen class by 6:37 na mo Accra FM otuda ko metenase your bare budget no otena pa.
What's better than your bestie? A bestie who brings the hottest blockbusters to movie nights, keeps the kids smiling with the funniest cartoons, and never misses a goal. That's GoTV Stream. Your soapies sorted, your football live, plus cartoons, movies, and more. No extra costs, just internet and an active GoTV subscription. Your shows, your vibes, your anytime, anywhere bestie. GoTV Stream. Download it today.
Beba Junior Mengro, my brother, hope now and in Adia or Joe Bagrosano. Now, dear, when you mean number Samwa, or what personality natural health care so I hear. Erin at the Benny say you. Healthcare, I won't 70 or 10 so Cassimo Boo, who prostrate I can say, I'm on your drone some woman who say yes, stroke, diabetes, hepatitis B, pressure, 60 yard dear, if it's a chroma money who, and no yard the whole was. O won fidie pa afei oba opesa o hips anasa wo to eya akese ye ho adwuma se stretch marks aje o wedie no aboso a ye yi free ho berima obema sua a opesa ye pagya mu no bra best care e wo enkran La Paz Nyameche Junction Grand Prince School no achiwa Kumasi Bantima G Runabout your medlab achiwo baabi ani edan ya Sahuman Rural Bank wo mu no a Sahuyo so empomam ye ne Church of Pentecost ene di hwe animu takwa Roman Stores yene Zenith Bank edi hwe animu Sunyane yawo Rex yene Total Filling Station no ene di hwe animu ena Takra de anaje ye ben Queens of Peace Academy a yene Goy Filling Station edi hwe animu Frepes Care ewo 055 773 8555 Pascal quality hair
Samsung kick-off promo no aba. Se di ni nya hoden no. Na yeso ye tie ni amane so. Eye double. Ewe ye Samsung LED FHD Smart TVs, UHD Smart 4K TVs, QLED Flat 4K, QLED 8K Neo TVs, any OLED TVs nyina. We dey chabi biemu. For Samsung OLED 65, 77 or 83 inches so nanya free projector. Any discount case pa. Na se wo to Samsung Jiraku top and bottom mounted fridge na. Upenya deals awudro bebre won pese be twa wo ho. Se woto Samsung R410 inverter AC say 1.5, 2.0 and not 2.5 a ubenya free Wi-Fi breaker. Bespoke 4-door refrigerator ne de. Se woto a ubenya free glass panel. To 7 kg, 8 kg, any 13 kg Samsung front and top load washing machines no. Naga discount ebe ma weni aje. Enti ka wona ko ye showrooms any authorized dealers a wo Ghana fa na nyina. Prayer was 0503 159 739. Samsung kickoff promo yi. Emma wo sika bebre.
Hello, Ghana for bills are canning hubiamo. Bills set 2025 year. And it does so homo bia what you walk only ejumaye. Ain't if I when it bills. Na beji loan na ubeti media ya wow ejuma. Way ye loan don't come me. Wun yashio. Nye wuhiane wu Ghana card. Ewa na wun saka usika. Na sa we obia we ya wow ejuma upese wutremu. Anasa we ejumaye niya. Uchi busumi ya ketria. And your bill se bray. Na beji lona. Wun febi BS yawa. Collateral. Anasa deposit. Wun yemu bia. Ain't ya fiti. Bill se si ubia wuni ejume bia ye. Ubetumi abeji loan don't come inubi. Na sa wut's nefie na wenye sika nubi dia. Eye wow. Ain't if bill se siya. Ewo 0596 920 833. Ana 0302 200 390. Na wetumi echiawo bills. Name HSA Accra. Bank of Ghana and Ansah Bills microcredit HSA. Bills, financing your needs.
Ah, ma, have you received the delivery?
See on the rider's bay. Send in the momo.
Okay, *17.
Ah, Paco. Don't you use a smartphone? Use the momo app, ne?
Huh? App.
Hey, I want to say a millennium, say millennial. Inim. Oh, millennium for ya nyaze. Switch to the app. Or you're smart and know you're secure.
Enter a world of possibilities with the Momo app. Pay your favorite merchant, pay utility bills, and borrow from our wide range of lending services. Move to the app side today. MTN.
Ewa, me pacho bra na me hwa de wo bagi.
Bra, aden. Enen so biem.
Hey, time heba me hye ya me ka se yi ba kun. Ani wayi me ensen.
Bra, sanya time heba me hya esia gyemi ni me fiefo enya de abako ebeso yen.
We de udi se ofa ni nyina.
Time heba me hya me ka se me di one dance ya heaven ene de me kwa akopie. Enti se malaria we draw ne time heba mixture.
Enye enunku de nanum ato a wontimi anidie no. Time heba mixture duro no ene ye ma wo. Oba a wafa afuro de wo ma akwada no fo. Ene akwada woni mfie dumienu entimi num aduro yi bi. Se obeto aduro yi bi anoma, hwe se wakọ hospital anase lab ameye hu se wo atridie malaria yi bi ansa. Se opetam heba mixture enuri dudu atu a, fo ani kire KNG Herbal Center ewo Emrom Abidjan House. Ana ba ko so wo atonsu Monaco Junction.
Eno echi obenya bi atowo over the counter medicine sellers. Ene herbal shop dodo na emu.
Fre 0244 417669.
Kayo set time no TIME. Time herbal mixture. Afi malaria fever bi adani ziba ewo munu betu akọ.
FDA agi adwadie nkratoa yi atum.
Wabatele Accra FM. Yeah, mommy. Wabatele Accra FM. Yeah, mommy.
Salute. Hey. When we send your police in your draw, imbusaba mesa amama huaden.
Refuse to grow. Any offense wa beka ho.
Ahuaden immune system o nyankopon. E de reni peduade mu samoya ho ban no. Enna sa wonom imbusaba mesa e peja immune system na bribia. Ya yare antimiu. Sese die amanfo dodo no a na di imbusaba mesa do ne ho adanse esen. Enyarewa horo anipa enyina etimi ba ne so. Ene nyarewa kese nkaya wuti ni din ene ho ka. Na yamu ahyew nyina no ebo ye ho ban afiri ho enna wo mpo a omo wanyarewa ne dada na omo nom doctor enuro no ennom imbusaba mesa no a emo ahoden pintin ya wo mo ntimpo se yare ahye omo ho imbusaba mesa ewo kanshi ene o man mu babia ye to enuro atufo mfre 0246 208496 FDA ahyehyɛ se adwadie nkrato yi magye atomu se ye
asampa yetia
TDC Ghana Limited say memo stores ahodoɔ infidi nyuma ene efia ahodoɔ a ɛwɔ temama ntemu amane say wodi TDC car every 2nd July ekosi 31st July afi mu no TDC bera bejije ground rent, house rent, shop rent and office rent from konkra. Na sani ebeya insusa soboni bia ma wosunti no mesra ko TDC head office a Watama community 1 na kwatua o ground rent se wodu ho na wotua wie nso a tina ho na je receipt Ansah na wakofie se uwo nsembise bia freye wo 24-hour call center number iso 0303-202731 Kayo Jumadie eye TDC Ghana Limited Omai Juma Kobinum ene aban bofo ena aka bom hyene so sane ebeya insusa soboni bia mawoso TDC Ghana Limited edikan for ewo adansi enyumamu.
Say the Makohu Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic no. Me who credit me say enunti no manya award wa eye world best. Obia transe ema dompem ya de ka say anase mo boya de enkan to dem bio.
Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic. Asanya want to say me ekuro etu no. Me enkan ewo nanum. Oba na be mo pa wo. Ene enyarwan kaye.
Nanse ma me ka say ene spinal cord ho ekaye no. Greenfield adoromenti ene wasa so le gina na so ebiem.
Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic. Ewo ultra modern laboratory and a diagnostic machine sir. Ashishedi pedie mu ankasa. Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic. Ewo Nungwa Dogon Estate Junction last stop. Frewa 0243-983-906 and 0261-651-898.
Greenfield.
God is our healer.
Greenfield.
Your last stop.
Yes, Sinabo, Yasaba, Afiz, Obiaba Tomato Assassin, and Sasa, nobody the form, unknown Benji Estate and Investment Limited, Okofaba, was a breakdown for Nara, and Sasa, Langat Sahin for Sembia Renew, Atoya, within 2 weeks, Naya Young Pepes, near Zama, Sasa Papa Gugu Baby today, Chopoli, Apo City,
Central University near B5 of the Flower Road,
Shy Hills,
Afienya To Estate,
and Ambiambia Bebre, in Sunan Kania, are available. Yes, Assassin oil litigation free and not secure. At Tonsasina, not 2 weeks. Ya won't crata near Zamo.
Aha, Miatova, Mr. Cocoe, Nelani Banyo Dinafle, Yikanya Gade Kamalongo, Langade Nyade Kamalongoa, Kejababana Dota de Benji Estate and Investment Limited. A Fimanya Anibanyo Kata Predume.
But Muslim can wear not Jersey, not for one main office. Our Tama Community 25, opposite DPS International School Junction, off Aplau Road, Fresh
0555-229-909 and 0248-780887.
Benji Estate and Investment Limited. And Sassi for.
Give us P capsules. A memory. Manum bia bememua. Kani mitutu ya na minkuma bwa sese die. Betu esa kum menia G. Give us P capsules. Give it to me, baby. Give us core capsules uzwe. Emane meme nyina koko yadie. Sisi yadie amamanya yem timotete womono. Yedruno no. Manum bi amama deme ho. Give us core capsules. I give it to you, baby. You give it to me. Oh yeah. Hey. Give us in no. Amen ni jia bebusiemu papa. Give us P capsules. Ememe wadi ifiedu watwede kronkwa na efa. Give us core capsules. Apemfu abata womo menufu ne nkwada wo ne ifiedu mienu nka ho. E wo drosto bia motufonko. Give us Herbal Center, Teshi Mobile, and Teshi Adriami. Phone numbers 0543-222-470 and 050-68-51135.
FD Ashusha Sa Ejedi Nkrato Imu Aja to Muse Eye.
100.5 Accra FM. Accra FM.
Oh, Ebusia. Unia wadamfo Kofi Nyameche Ghana for Kofi Ajima Konyawo Accra 100.5 so there na chese mpacho Benji Estate nkwamo nketen yede brew time with Benji Estate me pacho na chese enkran ensase ayetu ne sre ene abasa enkran asase ayetu susu na yeba ya asase wura enkran asase a manso sem langada sem konabra we ede gina hoje wa wenu tuemu na afe yetwa ede ama ana bebia wa wope na yede ma enya asase a insuo taiso enya asase a mepaocho wusi wudan a entimi ngina debi we eye Benji Estate and Investment shanon so makachro se nyamisro eni efie nyansa eni nimidi nyamede amayenti infrinhie duba akon ekodu mienu ni abanyama ni akoto asem police asem yenkoye mra debi yenhie bida wo uhunti ena yenso yesum wo nyansa eni nimdie kwan so Benji Estate and Investment say ye no eba bedi nkomo ne ya kire wo se ubenya asase ato ewo enkran ha manso sembiare eni so maka kire dada mpo se Accra FM ha studio ha ena opa bi ewo ha ya Benji fo ye betimi atwa bi ama wa o ha bia eni ho eni ntimesere o ka kire unua nka kire na adamfo nka kire obi se unua wadamfo kofi nyameche majime ko ede ama Benji Estate and Investment na chese ye bechecha nsase ye betutu ne sre ene abasa ye fa ni low na ye si ne high na onam obi afichire otitrotro mu opentem adaje ne ebrenti a mepacho ehun behia odaache ya homa ye didi djuma ewo ya so ye 0248 78 0887 0248 78 0887 Nemprensa so 0248 78 0887 Nietosu mienu 0554 45 26 89 0554 45 26 89 0554 45 26 89 Midi edi kofi nyameche mebo enchiremu a na chese ye kire wo ma wate asese obinya ni bebi ko obi firi mu obi da ni benkum so obi ka nchinugu a mepacho ye bisa se ni fie ewo hin ni fie ewo hin ema me hu nye we hin ema me hu nye we bufuo eni ntimpenufo se owi nam na ebi ka usima kire wo se fa bisie na hu nya no saada sister bra odi ebunkompo hwe wachi o ebra na wo 18 years o yo ba hwe sadia na wo mpokua esisi wo na emu odene te se brezi ahoma no enne wenya 35 obehwe enufuo no anaka no na odigi wudin no wo sesesi a drop wo tono kura asan a drop o ye be ma wo sesesi a wenim ahyase twonchom enkakra chese enoma enka hoda enintu apostle ye be jemu ni ye jemu a ye jemu san na ye de amanchirima mepacho obi enu o ma o chirifo wasempa kodo eninti na wonua Kofi nyameche makacho se susubiribi sister susubiribi sabre ya ni enti me paucho ede na wudi je nchirima me ye na maye ni nua ni menya nye enti Benji Estate and Investment se ye din na da yeso no ye dwin ko echi we crack ye bubobo ho ye dwendwen ho ye susu ho we think outside the box esan we wa ho to esan we ni jenti me pacho ye se ye tususu ewo ya so ye won saase ewo nkra ha emiamia ene mro no ahodo so eno ena Benji Estate ye kire wo se esan se ya trase ni ye bu nkonta Yesu Kristo ka se momododo ahin no o si abansora anasa story burden on tenase no wombu nkonta and nti so ye nipa na won tenase na wombu nkonta na wombu nkompo nhwe wechi na wonyi bi mfrimfa bi nsi na won toto nneoma ya sister bra daachi ubedi udokono ekwa and nti me pa cho Benji Estate se ye wo asase e wo shai osudoku shenon so mame ye wo asase e wo shai osudoku ye wo asase e wo chopoli ye wo asase e wo after Central University ye wo asase wo miamia bebre ahemfo chiniye abididi bi echi menim baby a wope menim environment a wopese wotena menim baby a wopese wotena eno nti Benji se ya toto ye nsa na afe ya ye nhihye yi ede ama obi biara sadia wa ho oden ene sadia wa nkasa wo ho ebeso wo ho eno nti mepacho bemmen sinsuo mu ansa na wa ham Benji Estate se ya wo asase e wo shai osudoku na asase a meba bobosu nyina ye yi ni 70 by 100 ana ye twa ni 70 by 100 me pa cho hye no so mam se yensa ase nyina akwan ewo ho nkanea ewo ho nsuo ewo ho obroni se well demarcated na chese yensa ase nyina so ahemfosem mansosem langard asem kɔna bra matra makɔ bukata asɛm biara no wɔsan sɛ yɛ dwumadi a yɛdi aban ɛnsa hyɛ yɛ dwumadi ase efie nyansa ɛne nyamesuro nti ɛna Benji Estate yɛwɔ Accra 100.5 mframa mu sɛ menua bra sister maame achia embuye echia kase bebuo nyina se won so betimi anya asase ebra yen sase a mebebo so nyina wo de Ghana sika foforo no 5000 Ghana cedis ebin mo giboro sa ebin mo mponsa ase a mebebo so so ye die ikura no ne bo na ewo form no kura ebin mo ton ne times 2 times 3 nanso Benji for say there be inso to efoma ayeten nanso yebetumi ayebiribi ama ye ho mpanifo se obi bebo ema wesu a enye te se de wankasa wa abo ho nti yebisa wo fie yemisa wo ka yemisa biribi foforo enti Benji se shai osudoku asase me paucho ya de ma 40,000 Ghana cedis shanon so obrone se outright so wo de sika na egu okutu dia ya de ba ma 40,000 na mbom so pa abosome ba ko mienu miensa kosi ninsia empo ebi mpo ana wa ho ode ankoso sa Benji se ya de asase na eba ma 45,000 Ghana cedis na wato obo ase nya adaje esase mpenifo se wunni adaje a wunya beyie ene ntimpacho na wato obo ase tuatua ne nkakra na mbom asase na ankasa ye 40,000 na mbom obro ne se wo credit na ye de ama no wenya adaje na bredi tuatua ye 45,000 na ni na chi ne nkamfu ano o de 5,000 Ghana cedis beto ase na ye twa asase na ama yesa wo de to ase na asase ne mfa ama da bi wo de 5,000 to ase na ya sha ase ye ho nkrata asem ni nyina de mam abosome ba kokosi nsia 45,000 ena Benji edema na shai osudoku assassin segreme housing project wo hye so emame asase a etoso mienu chopoli asase na chopoli asase me pacho eho 30,000 Ghana cedis hye so mame na sa 45,000 ene mpo ye de 35,000 ebi moto ni 70,000 and over Benji si there be ye nya osa esanse bebo dam firifie yehwehwe ade wo fie ni yenya bia ene yekọ ehu mu ana yekọ abonte ene nti Benji Estate and Investment say chopoli asase 30,000 also pa abosome ba kokosi ni nsia de a me pa cho 5,000 eda so wato obo ase na wetimi etuatua ne kakra esanse mpenifo se oto obo ase gu kuma abo atate a ene wo hu na akoma abo enti Benji se bra Benji asase wo shai osudoku ene chopoli na tuatua ne kakra de yehia ya 5,000 edi kan no eno ene eche wo se asase no wonsa aka ana asase no aye wo dia na afi ehun krata asemi na asa de ape wo so ompe we na opeden eden na wo hwehwe sister me pacho man ko me yanje wetwa me bo esanse hia ye ton asase ne ye doso na so unyame suro ene nyansa ene fie nim die nti Benji se ye mbu mfaso da Benji Estate say yasan ewo asase ewo Central University obi tu ka kire me say brako fi nkomo de ahoma no ye 0248 78 08 87 0248 78 08 87 and I say 0554 45 26 89 0554 45 26 89 Pacho Benji Estate say yasan wa asase biem ewo after Central University me pacho ahimfo chinie ebi didi biechi enti wonu akofi say ukuma abo tate a pacho tobo ase ubehu na akoma enti Benji for say ya wa asase after Central University B5 Company Limited off the Afrawa Road. Mpacho outright no 70,000 sika kutu de to home na ehome no eno 70,000 na mbom opa abosome ba kosi ninsia na ebro sample kasa she underline the word kasa and circle the word kasa na chese obetimi ne akasa nso tofam ye de anka wo hwa ade bi enim bi ana anka ye sa ade nanso Benji for your better wase eno 80,000 abosome ba kokosi ninsia ene ndebi na chese efie ene fie nkan eno nchese abontini embafa nko Benji for say yete kasa ase esanse nipa nti ene nipa ho na wunua nso etinsuo ho a ondwale mfuturu se wate ase oba akofo ensa entimi nkatanya mieni ani nti Benji Estate say ye no ehwe abom esanse se wutimi nya bebi di uteto me pa ocho asase so ayewe Yesu ka se enoma ewo prebu nanso onipa ba ne ni baby odi ne tibeto efie wurafo tetenya efie wurafo tu ye homwa efie wurafo ama chese ya setena won kran se ye adwuma ma o sister masema ma ka kire odwunu hu mienu enu wusunye enkonkwo dwene ho na obehu se meka unyansasem obehu se meka odaachensem obehu se meka wadoma akomasem onua oba kofi nyameche Ghana for kofi meka kire o se wonsu betimi aye fie wura wonsu betimi aye asase wura wadwen na wo fa nko so sister o de fakakrato nchen eti se de awudi Nigeria fo dwa no ka presempo adama sereko obehu an se ko na bucket no ayema na we hwie no hweo me pa cho frɛ e wo 0248 780887 0248 780887 and 0554 452689 0554 452689 Benji Estate and Investment say me patro tema committee 25 DPS Junction opposite the Goodness Filling Station off the Afrawa Road eho ena ya bank kese no eho ena ye di edwuma oba ho a obetimi ene aba bedi nkomo sara nso so na wo car nso a obetimi ede aba beje asase kala ejina ne na so Benji say ye beje yensa ase no nso ye twa no 70 by 100 hye no nso say nsuo nkane ene akwan nyina wo ho eba ne building construction a ye bi edan ho dwumedie nyina ye be ma obi afi land survey afi construction ne de keka ho nyina ye bi ewo ya so ye Benji Estate say beto susun de ye hia nyina ya 5000 ya commitment fee o de to ase a shai osuduku asase ebe esutware junction ye be ma obi afi chopoli asase a ewo mepalcho eyesagremi ye be ma obi mebre nu nti mbacho frenya ewo 0248 780887 0248 780887 and I say 0554 452689 Benji Estate o say duweni so ade hunu nechi na nye ejapade ende ejapade bi enu omo echi asase
Accra FM 100.5